This episode of Actin Up Podcast was recorded pre-quarantine. Please forgive any insensitive references or jokes concerning the coronavirus. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all the victims of COVID-19. Stay safe and stay at home.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Say hello to my little friend!
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
Yo, what you doing?
Yo, man, you can't be too safe nowadays, man.
Look, listen, never mind that. We got a guest, we gotta do the show today. We gotta do the show.
I am doing the show.
You gonna wear that mask?
Yeah, she been on a book tour. I don't know where she
Look
been.
Look at me. Look how I'm dressed. I'm ready for the show. You're not ready for the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time, man.
You know you can
People can finally take us serious.
No, I can't take you serious with that mask on it.
Yo, look, I ain't catching no coronavirus.
You're gonna scare our guests.
You need some?
No, I'm good. Look at me. I'm good.
Come on, man. $5.
I'm good. Well, listen, he's doing that. He's going to clean up. I'm going to tell you guys, welcome to the Actin Up Podcast.
Yeah, welcome to the Actin Up
Studios and lounge, bar, grill, and all that other stuff.
Let's
clap it up, everybody, for Actin Up Podcast, huh? This guy, I don't know what he's doing.
We are coronavirus free up in here. So this is the only podcast that you should listen to.
That's right.
That's right. We keep it clean up in here. Ain't that right, motherfuckers?
That's right. We got, I want to give a shout out first of all because we over here live. So just let me take the time to give a little shout out. I want to give a shout out to Germany, France, Switzerland, particularly Geneva, Bern. That one time I had that incident in Bern, I had a good time. Zurich, Paris. Is that Paris? Yes, that's Paris, France. I got 5 people on the line.
That's in France.
I got 5 people on the line. But
you're shouting out the countries? I thought you were shouting out everywhere that has the coronavirus. Italy, Germany.
I do want to give a shout out to Italy. To
the Princess Cruise Line off of the coast of San Fran to Ari Sol in Spain.
Listen. I don't want people to be too afraid of this coronavirus thing. It's a virus. Yeah, it's a cold.
That shit is real, son.
If you catch it, there's things that can be worked out. I'm sure they're gonna find a cure.
Yeah, it's a cold, but you can die. It's like really quick.
They gotta take care of themselves.
They gotta take care of themselves. I want to give a shout out to everybody in studio today.
Yes.
We have Side Man.
What up, Side Guy?
Here on the side doing side shit.
We got Money Making Mitch.
Money Making Mitch.
Yeah, he makes a little money. Yeah.
Go back
M3.
to the ones before. He's the camera guy formerly known as Bitter Man.
Oh, the camera
it was bitter N-word.
Why
I was bitter nigga. It was bitter nigga. That's what it was.
I mean, he named himself, so it's...
This ain't real. He named himself and changed his name.
Yeah, he thinks he's Prince over here. Next thing you know, he's just going to be a symbol.
I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to give a shout out to DC. She's in the house.
Hey,
DC, what's going on?
What's going on?
And, I'll never forget the most important person in the room. You know who that is?
The bartender.
That's Jenny from the block. Jenny from the block!
She got her cheetah print. I never get. I don't know if it's cheetah or if it's leopard. I don't really know.
We got old friend, new face again. Look, who's back?
Oh, wait a minute. Who's that? I don't recognize it. Wait a second. What is this?
Who's that?
Oh, it's Shakola! Producer Shakola Thompson in the house! Shakola missed a couple of episodes. I don't know. I was kind of. I don't know how you felt about it. I don't know.
She was dearly missed. She was dearly missed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I couldn't.
It was different in here. It was just the energy was different.
Yeah.
But who was that girl trying to take her place? She kept on saying, "Y'all need a producer."
Who's that?
That was the big.
Yeah.
That was the who?
I don't know. I just said yeah.
Yo, but for real though, like all jokes aside, like this corona shit's getting out of control. Like people are going crazy in the shopping centers. They're taking toilet paper, the water, they're stocking up, they're doing self-quarantines and all this shit. Yeah. I mean, isn't self-quarantine just called not having a job?
I think so. But I'll tell you what, I haven't packed up on anything because I figured I just go to my neighbor's house. I'll just break in somebody else's house. I'll borrow some sugar, like, your neighbors. I'm not panicking.
Hide your kids, hide your wives.
I'm not panicking on this one.
Malik coming.
Hey, I'm not going to panic on this one. You know
He's
what I
going to
mean?
just come with Corona fingers.
I decided, I want to make her with everybody I got a beef with. I want to bring them on the show.
Apologize.
No, I want to bring them on the show, and I want to look at them. I want to look them in their eyes, and I want to say, "Listen, do we have a beef?"
Oh, that's not an apology.
No, but I want to know.
Now,
because now we have a beef first.
But so basically,
Like,
he's in the corner now, behind the 8 ball, on some like.
No.
What makes you say that?
No.
You don't have to apologize for nothing.
Oh, watch out.
Hey, watch it.
No, I think that this is the show we can iron out all our beefs, whoever we got problems with. We bring them on the show and we have a sit down. If it goes awry, I don't know. It makes a good show, huh?
This guy's trying to take it love and hip hop, yo.
No.
This ain't love and hip hop.
It's a family show.
Malik gonna be throwing his Jamesons on.
No. That's
the
a
guy in
family
the
show.
car. The guy with the car from last week.
Who's that?
Oh.
The guy you beat up in the car.
Watch him. You know what? Whose side are you on?
I'm on that guy.
Are you working? Who are you working with?
That's why he got this suit on. You just came from court. He just came. We knew something had to be up, yo. For real. He don't look like Clint Eastwood tonight.
Hey, I'm trying to be comfortable. You know what I mean? Gotta clean up my image. Thank you.
Well, you know what? It's a good look for all of us.
Thank you.
That cowboy outfit, man, was really.
Hey, listen, I do my Western thing, but don't worry about it. So, how was your day today, Cisco?
It's actually pretty good. It was cool, man. It rained.
Yeah.
It rained, so it was just kind of one of those mellow days, and I think my son felt it because he was kind of like just lazy all day. You know what I mean? You just fall asleep on your chest, like, I'd take a nap real quick. But you wake up too quick.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah,
When I'm like,
yeah.
you sit there like, okay, it's been 15 minutes. I think he's really asleep. I think I'll go to sleep.
There's a trick to that. I don't know if you want to. I should share it. There's a trick. I told you.
What I gotta do? Hold up. No, Malik.
Kids Motrin. I swear to God, they go to sleep for hours.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
We heard that story.
It's amazing.
Nah.
They go to sleep for hours. It's a true story.
I'm good. I'd rather give him some tequila. No, none of that. These are just
Jokes.
This is all comedy.
All jokes.
Don't be showing up at my door talking about we're taking your kid. Yeah, yeah, right.
I want to hear one of your stories. Like, it's not always good when it comes to this career of ours. This thing called acting, right? Is there anybody out there that you want to talk to and personally iron out some things while we hear live?
Yeah, actually, I do. There are two people. No, three. Three. One is Tarantino.
Okay.
Why haven't you put me in one of your films yet? 2 is Spielberg.
Really?
Why haven't you put me in any of your films yet? And 3 is Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Why haven't you put me in any of your films yet?
Yeah, but that's
I don't care. I could be the newspaper. Extra. Read all about it. Yo, what?
No. Who do you have a real beef with?
I got beef with nobody. That's why I got so many friends. See, you, on the other hand, you know what I mean? The people you beefing with are on your live right now. Like, that's right, Malik, I see you, son. Yeah, you think everything's sweet in that suit? Oh, you think you better than us because you on a podcast now, son? We see you, Cell Block D, nigga.
So you happy with the state of the industry? That's what you're trying to say. You're happy about things.
Well, that's a whole different story.
Okay.
You know what? I can't be mad. I'm blessed. I got a lot of pots on the stove right now, and they bubbling. So I'm just really excited. My film company, Melting Pot Entertainment, is really taking off, and I got some things. Cats they're gonna be pleasantly surprised.
Nice.
But I got like 3 different shows coming out. You know what I mean? That's doing well, and as an actor. But yeah, I can't complain. I got a beautiful 6-month-old son.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's a blessing.
I've been on, I'm on audition and I'm taking my son on. He had his callback. I told the last show that he had a callback.
Mm-hmm.
He went on his callback. He killed it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's just
natural.
He just gets in other people's eyes. He's laughing. Like, yo, if they don't pick him, they stupid.
Right.
Because, no offense to any of those parents that were there with their kids, but there's some ugly kids.
There's some ugly kids out there. I swear to God.
I don't care what any woman say, anybody.
Right.
I love kids. I love kids. But not every baby is pretty
It's
or
a
cute.
cougar baby.
Oh my God.
No.
Some of them got cantaloupe heads.
Oh
They
my
just
God.
with just eyeballs.
Smart kids.
One kid, his eyeballs were so close together. I was like, wait, how's that even possible? You know what I mean?
Is he
like
seeing double?
The only thing that it did, that's what it looked like. Yo, I was like, the only thing separating his eyes was his nose, like just a little piece.
Well, we do love the kids. I mean, I don't want to.
I love kids. I mentor kids. Matter of fact, my mentoring program got put on hold.
You're fired as a
Whatever. Shout out to Young Storytellers program. You know what I mean? The mentoring.
You do a lot for those kids.
It's dope.
Tell the people what you do for those kids.
Yo, Young Storytellers is an organization where they have mentors, writers come in, and they teach them how to make a 5-page script.
Dope.
And, basically a short movie, a 5-page short movie. It could be about anything as long as it's original. And we don't say, no, you should do this, you should do that. We just keep on saying, and then what happened? And then what happened? Everything has to derive from them organically. There's nothing that should come from us except help with structure, elements, settings, all the elements of a movie. You know what I mean? Characters, plot, middle, end, lesson, climax, all that stuff. And at the end, when they're finished, they have what's called a big show. And at the big show, they have real actors, real Hollywood actors, trained actors, and they come in and they perform. They script up for them on stage.
Nice.
And then there's a biggest show where 6 students out of the 60 schools that they do the program at go down to the Nokia Center down at LA Live or somewhere big like that, and A-list actors come in, like Jordan Peele, some of the cast from Saturday Night Live.
Malik Barnhart.
I haven't seen you there, but yes.
All right. Well,
Soon comes.
You never know.
Soon comes. Yes. Hey, you know what? Honestly, I want to be one of them actors performing their script for them. I've done it at their big show at their elementary, and I can't even front. That shit is exhausting as an actor,
right?
Because you getting about 10 little kids. They may pick you, they may not. But if you do we audition for them, and he's like, I could do this, and I could be mean, and I could be a nerd, and I could be, and they're like, so already in their mind, they're like, oh, he's gonna be the evil hamburger head. She's gonna be the mermaid that lives in a shoe. You know what I mean? That's how crazy their stories are.
I should start a program. I was thinking about that. It just came to me. I should start a program. Teach kids how to break in a car and how to get away.
I'm pretty sure they teach that every day on the New Jersey street.
I think.
Well, listen.
I think the Bloods got that on lock.
There's a lesson to be learned and stuff like that. You get caught, you do the time. Don't do the time if you don't do the crime if you can't do the time. There's a lesson in it. It's a metaphor. It's metaphoric in nature.
I don't think you're good.
How'd you think I learned?
To get caught.
How'd you think I learned?
Yo, no matter how this dude dress, you can do anything. He's still a thug, yo.
What?
He's still a thug.
Say that
Hey, it's just he.
You're scared of people here.
She's like, where did you bring me on?
The image keeps
But
I cleaned up nicely.
Young storytellers, they're dope. If you guys want to be mentors for them, you can hit up on Instagram. And it's really dope. You don't have to be a writer per se to because you'll learn as they learn. But you're gonna get it quicker, so you'll just be mentoring them. It takes nothing just to be there for an hour. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's once a week for an hour at all these different elementary schools, wherever
What's the name of them
you may be. Young Storytellers, all right? Young Storytellers program.
That's dope.
And,
One time for the young
Storytellers, yes.
I hear something. Oh shit, that's me.
Oh, that's you. We got to call in this.
Spam. Oh, let's have some fun with some spam real quick.
Answer it.
Hello?
Yes, it's Queen Rock
You sound stupid, man. They paying you for that?
I'm sorry about that,
I thought he was mad
guys.
at
I
me.
thought he was a caller. You know what I mean? They pay a lot for that.
Yeah.
Because we have a 900 number, so every time they call, they pay. He's acting up. We just be acting up. $10 for every comment. You can see.
So okay, so let's move it along.
Yeah.
You did your thing with the young hit makers, filmmakers, all this kind of stuff.
Makers.
You got the baby on a callback, 3 callbacks. He's smiling. He does his thing. He's motoring them right. I taught you that.
No, we are not motoring Baby Soul.
You know, today you told me to dress nice because we had a special guest. You have a T-shirt on though. I don't know what's going on.
I just wanted to make sure that you weren't embarrassing.
Come on, I mean, I'm ready for this. Somebody told me I look like David Letterman though. Is that a compliment?
No.
Probably not. He's an old white man.
But he's knowledgeable and rich. Yeah, so you made something happen today. We got a special day. This is a special day.
Yes,
for us.
usually we record on a Tuesday,
Uh-huh.
but
What's today?
because
Thursday.
yeah, we went to the other T word because our guest is right now on a book tour.
Really?
Of her most recent or most recent first book.
Wow, that was good.
And
That was good. You put that really
but,
nicely.
but she's been all over domestically, the U.S., promoting this book. I met her when I was in Sundance this past January.
Okay.
And Sundance is a lot of fun. You never know what you're gonna get into. It's just one long street of nothing but, they turn in every shop, bar into something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the sneaker shop is now the CAA party. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Or the Cannon Lounge, the IMDb Lounge. And I went into this joint that was supposed to be the Pizza Hut joint because I was hungry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, ooh, Pizza Hut having a party? I was like, I can eat. You know what I mean? and stuff in Sundance is expensive.
So is it like Cannes? Sundance is like Cannes. I've never been to Sundance.
You know what? Cannes is just on a whole nother level. It's still like Cannes, and then if you know where to go in Cannes.
So what's the main street? What's the main street
like
in
Sundance? You can't you can't hide Sundance from Park City. You know what I mean? Park City. It's like, oh shit, it's going down. It's like, Miami during ABFF.
What's the main drag? What's the main street?
I don't know any drags, but the main street is Main Street.
Oh, Main Street. So yeah, I get that. So it is a little different because you get in France.
It's one big
Cannes,
hill.
you have the Croisette, La Croisette,
La Palais.
La Croisette. Now imagine you say, "Yo, where you going?" I'm going down to La Croisette.
La Croisette.
La Croisette.
No,
Come
see,
on.
La Croisette is there's
La
people
Croisette.
walking up and down,
Yeah,
but there's
beautiful.
not like, oh, let's go in there. I mean, they do, they got the Acura or Grey Goose tent, but just think of just tent after tent after tent, or shop after shop after shop. It's just something going on, and it's a big ass hill. So whatever party's up here, and the Pizza Hut party was mad far up the top of the hill. I was really mad about that shit. But after that was the HBO party that was really popping. But and then the Black House is down here, so everybody always meets at the Black House. You know what I mean? Especially if you a filmmaker of color, Latino, Black. You know what I mean? Or just if you just want to be down with the brothers. Nah, Black House be popping.
So you walked into this pizza shop.
So boom. And
gotta keep moving.
Thank you, brought me back around. And so this young lady was talking. She was up on the stairs. It was like kind of one of those bars where it wasn't that big, but it had a stairs that went upstairs, and she was like in the middle of the stairs, and everybody was just
how many stairs? I need to know how many stairs.
Maybe she was on the 4th or 5th.
Okay, that's
important. What I mean? And she was up there talking about her book and just about Hollywood, and she was like, yo, we got to get rid of these white men out of Hollywood.
What? What's she?
And
This
I
is the came like that.
And I was listening. I was like, okay. I was like, you got my attention.
She must be a strong sister.
And so, but
and
I had just came from the Women in Film panel, so there was a lot of like Sundance this year was very
you don't feel invulnerable.
women driven. You know what I mean? Which is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? There was a lot of like things geared towards that, and the LGBTQ community and all that, and I walked in. I was like, okay, what am I about to see right now? Like, a woman bashing the males in Hollywood. They're okay, I'll listen. And then she's like, yo, the white men in Hollywood need to be getting out of there. The ones in power, which are them, you know, because not only are they holding back women, but they holding back blacks and Latinos. And I was like, oh yeah, preach.
She must
you
be
know
a Black
I mean?
Panther.
I was like, yo, I was like, you know what?
Woman, right?
I was like, yo, this is. I'm here for a reason, you know what I mean? I needed to hear this.
Right.
And as soon as she was finished and, you know, was mingling around, everybody was saying, hey, I had to invite her on the show, you know what I mean? I was like, yo, I think I might even said, I was like, I fuck with you. I was like, I need you on my podcast, you know what I mean, when you come to LA. And it just so happens she's on a book tour for her book called The Wrong Women in Hollywood.
Wow.
And...
Strong Nubian.
Strong black woman. Strong black woman.
The wrong kind of woman.
Oh, right there. Come on.
The wrong kind of woman.
Hey, pass me that right there. Pass me that right there, please.
Well, you want to show the book now? I mean, do we want to show the book now?
Well, I just want to give her a proper introduction, you know what I mean?
All right. Do that right.
You know what I mean?
Do that right.
You know, the wrong kind of women inside the revolution to dismantle the gods of Hollywood.
Oh, wow.
And
That's deep.
with that being said, she's also an accomplished producer, actress, award-winning actress. She killed the film festival circuit with this one film that she did and won lots of awards. She produced another film and she went on a whole 30-day or longer than that tour all over the U.S. to promote it and show it and screen. Like, she is the true guerrilla filmer, independent filmmaker, woman filmmaker. You know what I mean? She does it all. She acts, she writes, she produces. She's a published author. Give it up for Naomi McDougall Jones.
Yeah, there she is. Hey,
what's up, Naomi?
what's going on?
This is already the most fun podcast I've ever been on.
Hey, listen, you heard
you
that.
got that right.
I like her already. Wow, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. You know, I don't know, the way he introduced you, I thought you were African American of some sort. But hey, listen, you know, we got a lot in common. You're part of the struggle. I understand.
Yeah.
No, you really are. You know, like,
We gotta get rid of these dirty old white men. These old nasty and mean.
Well,
Well, not everybody.
it's just, my point is, white men in the U.S. are about 30% of the population. They direct 95% of the movies.
Damn.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
Like, that's just an unreasonable set of facts.
Like on your TED Talks, everybody, she got a TED Talks. Go to TED Talks and look her up. It's like over 1 million viewed. But on your TED Talk, the way you start out, you talk about your journey in Hollywood, and you know, you talking about being a woman in Hollywood and trying to navigate to the top was no different story than me as a Latino or him as a black man. You know what I mean? Like, it was the exact same story. It was just like, yo, your plight is being a woman, is being black, me being Latino, you know what I mean, and black. But with that being said, I was able to connect to so many things that you were saying, you know what I mean? Like, that's I think what's really has drawn me to you. I'm like, yo, she got the same story, but you keep it real. It's just not like one-sided, like, yeah, you a feminist, but it's not like you, like, yeah, but I don't mess with y'all. No, there's a collective group that needs to get together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like I said, that means if they're 30% and they're controlling virtually all of the stories that are being told.
And we're buying the tickets.
We're buying the tickets. That means 70% of us are absent from the cultural narrative, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's...
Church.
That's a really big problem. The fact that 80 to 90% of all of the leading characters that we've ever seen on screen were almost overwhelmingly white men, like, that is a huge problem.
Right.
Even when it was a black person or a Latino, they still playing.
Yeah.
like, yo, you guys gotta have
West Side Story. West Side Story.
Yo,
Nobody's Latino.
Tonto from
Yeah, he wasn't, right?
I mean, I love Johnny Depp, but come on, man.
Yeah,
You're telling me that there's not one talented Native American dude that you could have put on the map. You know what I mean? Like, come on. It's just ridiculous,
It is.
yo.
I
They
agree.
do it all the time, and they still do it. And it's like, come on.
Well, you know what, Cisco, when you first told me about Naomi, hold up, make sure I'm right. When you first told me about this young lady, Naomi, this wonderful young lady guest we have here tonight, when you told me like this story, you told me the same story you just said just a minute ago. And I thought immediately, I said, you know what, see, a lot of people don't really register with this, but white women and black men have always had a lot in common because they always felt like they were being, and I have to say black women as well, always felt like they were being held back some sort. You know, you're a good housewife, you're good, you can spend a credit card, you can do whatever you want, but listen, no voting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you coming from that train of thought. Can we rewind it a little bit? And like, how did you grow up? How did you come into this way?
Where are you from, first of all?
Damn, I'm good. I'm sorry.
I'm from Colorado.
Okay.
And I wanted to be an actress from the time I was 4 years old. That was like the driving ambition of my life. And my best friend at one point told me that real actresses live in New York. So then that became my ambition to move to New York.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I cared about was storytelling, right? That's why we do any of this, is that we want to tell stories that reflect our experiences of the world, that move people, that make people think differently about the world. And I went to acting school in New York, and I got out, and I started auditioning against 300 other incredibly talented women to play naked corpse number 4.
Wow.
And the super supportive girlfriend, or like the housewife who like nods a lot and like is really nice and supportive. And I was just like, this is horrible. Like, what are we doing? And this, like, not only these characters that I'm going in for don't reflect the women I know in my life, and I'm sure you've experienced the flip side of it.
My friends laugh at me when they see me on TV because I got a gun in my hand, I'm sticking someplace up, and that's like the total opposite of me. So they be like, look at this guy. That ain't Cisco, but I mean, hey, you have to stick up a few people to get to the top.
Right. But because it's this tiny portion of the population of white men writing the narratives, directing the narratives, controlling the narratives, and they've just decided what the rest of us are allowed to be, right? That's why it's called the wrong kind of women, because like every woman who's a real woman gets told that she's the wrong kind of woman in some way or another, because like, you don't fit into this neat little stereotype that they've designed for you. And so then after a couple of years of that, I was like, well, this isn't why I'm doing this. I want to tell stories that matter and that reflect my reality. And so then I became a filmmaker, and I set out to make my first feature film for $80,000, and it was like very scrappy, and we didn't go to film school. We just had asked people to have coffee with us and tell us how to make a movie.
Wow.
You fundraised on that, right?
We did.
Crowdfund? So like Indiegogo?
So we did Indiegogo for about half of it, and then we like scraped together small investments for the rest.
80,000, that's a big one.
How much did you get on the crowdfunding?
So we ran 2 different crowdfunding campaigns. The first one we got $10,000, and then a year later we ran one for $20,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Incredible.
And then you shot the whole movie for 80. But I mean,
well, 80 included post and film festivals submissions.
What's the name of the film?
Imagine I'm Beautiful.
And you won a lot of awards
I did
with
win
that
a lot
one.
of awards.
Yeah.
But
You won Best Actress at the New York International Film Fest.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's big.
Come on.
Best Leading Actress,
Yeah. But before we got to make it, so I was making it with some female colleagues, which we didn't realize was like a radical feminist act, right? We just feel like we're working with cool people. And people started saying to us in meetings, well, girls, you know that you're going to have to get a male producer on board at some point just so that people will trust you with their money. And sort of like over and over telling us, well, nobody wants to see stories about women. Like, you really have to think about making something else.
Obviously, they live in a cave right now.
Right. It was so crazy. And then I started, and so then I was like, is that true? That can't be true. Women are 51% of the population. What are you talking about? And then I started looking into it and found out that women buy 52% of all movie tickets, and that actually films by and about women make more money dollar for dollar than films by and about white dudes, because...
Of course.
And men wouldn't even go to the movies if they didn't take girls there.
Exactly. And women go to the movies in groups.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know?
Deep.
Yeah.
And they are very engaged on social media. Like, they'll get out of a movie. If they like it, they're going to tweet about it. They're going to go on Facebook, tell all their friends to go see it. Like, common sense. And they still don't do it.
Now, were you... Because I know for me, when I moved to LA, I was a little shocked. I was taken back because, I always wanted to be an actor as well as a kid. And I never thought of myself as a certain type of actor, like he said, holding a gun or this or that.
Yeah.
I never looked at myself like that. I looked at myself like a doctor, a lawyer, a Laker. I don't know, whatever. Fisherman.
Did he say a Laker?
I don't know.
Did he say a Laker?
A guy by the lake, a Laker.
Malik's playing Kobe in the biopic.
I could be on the bench. I could be on the bench.
I see it.
The thing about it is that I found out that you were quickly put in a box by the way you look, and I thought we were supposed to get makeup and make these characters and dress up. I thought it was just all make believe.
No, some people do. Like Leonardo, Johnny Depp, they
that's
get
that
to be
30%.
whoever they want. Just imagine how great it is to be like in their roles, not in their shoes, but just in their roles.
They're having fun.
Like you're telling me I get to be Batman one day, I get to be a pirate in the real Caribbean for months.
For real.
I can walk around like a pirate and just act like I'm drunk and probably really am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Nah, Cisco, you're gonna go over to that door, and when you come out, you're gonna take the little kid off the bike, and then you're gonna say your spiel. 10 minutes later, Cisco, okay, here's the shot. You're gonna run out the store and you're gonna get shot. We ran out of time, so we don't got time for your spiel. You're just gonna get shot.
But the thing is,
Skip him.
I think that Oscars should dedicate a portion of the show to newcomers. Because, I mean, Leonardo getting an Oscar, Tom Hanks getting an Oscar, I mean, it's not overwhelming. I mean, we've been here before.
Like and you
had enough practice to get the damn Oscar. I mean, come on, we're on your 200.
No, real talk, that's why I feel like kid actors, like the Sixth Sense kid, like people like that. Kid actors that are nominated.
Copeland?
No, that's why I said the name of the movie. But who is it when they're up against adults who have been in this business all their lives, and you're talking about a little kid, and he went there. He got like the two kids from Slumdog Millionaire. Yeah. They killed that shit. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like kids should definitely get carte blanche over somebody who's been practicing, and they usually give it to that person.
Wait a minute, you saying kids? I don't want to destroy the kid. I don't want to make a monster. Look what they did to Tatum O'Neal, huh? The father and they broke up after that. She won an Oscar over the dad. It was bad.
Okay.
You don't want to give a kid an Oscar. Come on, they had to be bigger than yours, and that's a big head.
I still have my shit. Like, hey,
they have the little awards. They get put the gook on them and all that. They got the green stuff,
slime.
Purple stuff.
That'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be fine. But that was for me. It taught me a lesson, and I said, you know what? You can never put me in a box because I woke up as an artist. I always seen colors, you know what I mean? And I refuse to be in a box. And if you allow me, if you want me to play these characters over and over again, I'm gonna make sure they're different every time. Yeah. So that's what I pride myself on. Until you pick up the camera and you pick up that pen and you write your own.
Yeah. But can I get a little radical on you for a second?
Let's do it. I want it radical. I'm about to take my time.
Let's get radical. Okay. Radical.
So here's the problem. Films influence everything from our career choices to our relationship status to our hobbies to our purchasing decisions to our views of ourselves and our views of our other people and even our brain chemistry, our neural pathways, right? Wow. So we're not just talking about like what kind of shit jobs do we have to do, although that sucks for us and a lot of other people, but it's like, okay, so the films we watch impact everything about our lives. All of those stories, almost, are coming from the white male perspective, which is 30% of the population. So if you think about, and now we're exporting more films globally than ever before, right? So now we're not even just talking about poisoning the domestic culture, we're talking about poisoning the global
the rest of the
culture.
world.
We are at a point where we can't even see the world except through white men's eyes, I don't think, because they have shaped the entire visual language through which we think about the world and each other. Yeah. So these small acts of resistance are so important and so good, but also I think we have to think radically about how we actually tell different stories and get them to audiences who, as we're saying, definitely want to see them. Mm-hmm. Because now, like, we went through Oscar So White, we went through Me Too, we went through Harvey Weinstein, and now the studios are kind of like people are yelling at them, and they're like, okay, well, we hired Ava DuVernay. Please stop yelling at us. Like, press release,
and
press
she's
release.
black. We got a 2-for-1.
Totally right. Press release. Go away. But like, women are 70% of us are at 5%. We're not going to get to 70% like one at a time. And what we're really talking about is that this tiny group of people who are controlling all of the power and resources and fame and all of the stuff, like they don't actually want to give it up.
And now this is great. I'm glad you said that because you know what? This is so deep. This is very deep. Listen, this is very deep. I'll tell you why. Because I always say the white man, that 30%, is the greatest delegator on the planet. You know why? He's the reason why I got this tie on. That's a lot. I like it. I like the tie. It's the reason. Because I'll tell you why. Because what happens is when you do get and I'm not necessarily singling anyone out, but you do get an Ava DuVernay, or you do get an Oprah, or what have you. The mentality hasn't changed. You arrive and you're like, hold up, I gotta go. Wait, listen, don't embarrass me. No, you're gonna be in here with those white people. Don't be embarrassed. You know, the mentality doesn't. No one gets in there. Obama didn't become president and get radical. And you know what I mean? He didn't get radical. He got.
Y'all should have never gave me the
and I think that's the thing, because always trying to be politically correct. The thing I can respect from a guy like a Trump is that at least he is edgy enough to raise the eyebrow, to raise your eyebrow, to make you question what he's saying. You know, someone is trying to go straight-laced and just be even killed just to be accepted. You've been accepted. Now shake some feathers up in there, right?
Right, well, and this is why this continues, right? Because every time we get one through, then suddenly they have so much to lose.
Anxiety.
And very, very few people in that position will then shake the boat, because then they will be kicked back outside. Like, that's how Hollywood works.
It's a ripple effect. They're scrambling to protect their legacy. They see their legacy slipping away from a black man being with their daughter, from them letting too many people of color or women into their studio to start making decisions, executives who are going to have their jobs sooner or later. And there's like, yo, what's going to happen to me? And then all of a sudden, all my movies and my point of view is not going to be told anymore. You know what I mean? You're not going to know how to think about women without me. You're not going to know how to think about Latinos and blacks without me. And next thing you know, their pollution is gone. The water is finally clean. You know what I mean? And they're afraid of that. They're afraid of losing their legacy, man. That's the biggest thing. They're seeing a culture that is mixed become like they think they're going to be extinct, and it's never going to happen. No. You know what I mean? They just need to give up some of the control and the power.
The thing about it is, Naomi, you said something on TED Talks that really interested me.
Okay.
Because you don't hear it from a lot of people. You said, what did you say? Where's my notes? Damn it! You said, I want to see films from other people. I want to see other people's story. You know, from whoever. That's interesting, because those are the things that is how we learn. You know, I went to Moscow once. I spent a nice 2 weeks in Moscow. I won't tell you the whole story, but it was a nice time. But Moscow, when I left Moscow, I had a really new appreciation for Russians, for the Russian culture, their pride, everything. I learned some history, you know. And had I never touched down there, I would never know about the 5 churches and all this other stuff, you know. And it was really, it was impressive. Yeah. People have a way of life, and people are proud of who they are. Yeah. And the thing about women, white women, black men, people of color, Latino brothers and sisters, the thing about it is we all have a story to tell, and we should all be proud to sit at the table with anyone and look them in the eye and say, well, I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I used to do crime, and I went to jail for a couple of years, but don't worry about that.
I used to do I used to do crime.
If that's a part of your story, you know, but then on the flip side, I could talk about Ukraine and Moscow and Greece and things like that. Yeah. That makes me full circle.
Well, and that's it right there, because storytelling is a tool to build empathy to people who aren't like you, right? It's a tool to resonate your own experience back to you. That feels good, but more importantly, it's a tool to develop empathy. So as little kids, we are all shown these films with these white male protagonists. And so from a very young age, we're taught to empathize with these people who are not like us. right? But they are never asked to do that same thing
Right,
with
exactly.
other people who don't look like
Because
Right.
they can't quote unquote relate. That's the point.
I don't think so.
But
I don't think that's it.
I feel like you watch this so you can relate.
But if,
You know what I
if they
mean?
were little kids, like as a little kid, you're gonna like you don't have society hasn't messed up your brain yet. You know, like you're gonna relate to whoever is in front of you. Because the movies aren't there, because they're not being given that opportunity. And it's like it's not that they have an invalid perspective. They have a 100% valid perspective 30% of the time. It's just that, like
They're just
also there are
telling
all
their
these other
story.
perspectives, right?
Well, can I say something? I think that goes back to the who purchases more black rap? White kids. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to know about the culture, you know.
Yeah.
And play devil's advocate, if these 30% of white men that understand that will let that go, they can make more money also.
Of course, right. Well, the biggest spending block is Latino millennials right now. So like they're making completely the wrong content if they want to make money.
Right.
Money.
Yeah.
Right.
Make it happen.
Right.
No, it's one of those things, and it's funny that the way, because who you talking about? I know you put gods on here. They think they're gods. They really do think that they're gods. You know, they have the control. They're the voice from above, and they're the Wizard of Oz out this motherfucker.
Well, you actually said you wanted to work with Spielberg and the Scorsese.
Okay, and
I'm sorry, Cisco. I'm sorry.
And I stand by that because I just want to work with dope ass directors, yo. I want to work with dope filmmakers, and when you constantly thinking that there's only 4 great actors out there, and let's put one black person in it. If we can't get Denzel, let's go get Michael B. Jordan. If we can't get Michael B. Jordan, then let's go get, Forrest Whitaker. If we can't get Forrest Whitaker, let's get, you know what I mean? Like, why does it always have to be? There can only be one black superstar with a hit movie at that time.
Well, I think that we have to be honest and say that it's all about controlling the narrative.
Yeah.
If I put Malik as the sexy man and he's getting laid in every film and the girls want him and he's sought after, then that guy is going to be the statue to what sexy is. Like,
that's
like
the
Marlon
movie,
Brando once
Yeah.
was. I'm just saying, it's about controlling the narrative. I can't have my women chasing after you. Is the mentality.
Totally. And so
I know things.
So in the beginning of the silent in the silent era of films, in the very, very beginning of the film industry, there were actually more women in the industry than men. There were more women writers, directors, studio heads.
Wow.
They were making. It was part of it was because everybody kind of thought it was a hobby. Like nobody thought it was really going to become a thing. And also the men were away fighting World War I, and they were just kind of like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. Just you can do that for right now. And women were making these radical movies about cross-dressing and abortion and feminism, and they were being naked on screen and not in like an objectified way, but in like a fuck you, I'm a woman, I'm naked in this movie. And they were sparking riots in movie theaters around the country, and they were getting theaters shut down.
Wow.
And then talkies came around, and Wall Street realized that it was going to be a real industry and that there was real money to be made. And you can read in contemporaneous documents that they said to the guys in Hollywood, they were like, look, we'll invest money in this, we'll make this a real industry, but you've got to get the women out. Because, well, number one, they obviously don't know how to run a business, right? But 2, we're going to have a real problem on our hands in society if they keep making these movies and all these women around the country keep watching them. They're going to get all these ideas in their heads about what should be true.
Yeah.
Right? And it's been the same story ever since.
And enter Buster Keaton. Shut up. Enter James Cagney. Pow! Get out of here. It's like, yo.
Now, I mean, I'm not a total white man hater, but listen, I want to sit at the table. I want to play a little bit too.
But again, I'm
wanna
married.
challenge.
I'm married to a white man. I don't hate white men.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, no, hell, what the hell?
Why would you go and do that?
30% right there.
He let you come here. He let you come to the Actin Up Podcast, yo.
Things just took a turn.
I gotta do what I gotta do, Cisco.
Bartender, I get a refresher, please.
You can't call a bartender. That's a little bit like that's
Jenny,
you doing like the 30%. Jenny from the block.
Jenny from the block. Lo siento. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. It's not like we're not trying to
Little
we're not trying
Jamie
to
and
attack
Ginger.
them, right? It's
Yes,
just like,
Ginger
hey,
beer.
you're 30% of the population. how about you just make 30% of the stuff? Like, it seems pretty reasonable to me.
So what are you doing right now proactively? You have your book.
Yeah.
But what are you doing to spread the word? Is it, I know that there's TED Talks and you're actually, are you writing a film now to?
Yeah. So I've made 2 feature films that I wrote, acted, and produced in.
Nice.
And part of what I'm doing is, in my work as a filmmaker, trying to figure out ecosystems to get films financed and distributed fully outside of the system. Without ever needing the white male gatekeepers to decide whether it's valuable or not. So with my second feature film, Bite Me, like you said, we just decided to distribute it ourselves.
Tell that story. That's a very interesting story. She made a movie called Bite Me for about $500,000, and it's about some real life vampires and the insurance, the IRS agent that's gonna, thank you very much, that's auditing the vampire society. So in society, they're like, there's some real life vampires, people who think they're vampires that have to drink human blood to survive, or at least they think they do, and that's what her movie's about. But it's
a romantic comedy.
Yeah, and it's a romantic comedy, you know, because I'm a big vampire fan, you know what I mean? But I'm more of the, you know, Interview with the Vampire, the Lost Boys, you know, like stuff like that. Like I liked Blade, but I like vampire movies, you know what I mean?
Did you like Blackula?
Blackula was hilarious.
It was a great
Kadeem Hardison.
No,
was the best.
No. Blackula.
Oh.
Who are you?
Oh, my bad. No.
Who is this guy?
No. Vampire in Brooklyn. But you know what? I think Vampire in Brooklyn might be better.
No, Vampire in Brooklyn was a great movie. That's Eddie Murphy.
He was like, what else do you need his arm for?
I would say great. It was an okay movie.
Eddie would tell you it was
entertaining.
I mean, it was entertaining.
It was stupid funny. All right. But you know, back to your flick. What made you want to make a romantic comedy about real life vampires?
Well, I love romantic comedies, and I met a real life vampire on the set of Boardwalk Empire, and thought it was the most interesting thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
And so I started looking into this community, and it seemed like such an interesting way to look at communities who are very outside society and sort of like. So my character, who is a vampire, ends up falling in love with her IRS agent, and it kind of ends up being about like how we're all just giant weirdos just trying to get through the day, and like it doesn't matter. It's just we're all human beings and we're all messy.
And we all need love.
And we all need love, and we're all so terrified that we won't be loved for who we are and all of our complexity. So we finished this movie. It was so good, and we knew exactly who the audience for this movie was. But we started having conversations with distributors who were like, well, we love this movie, but we don't really know what to do with it. And I'm like, this movie sells itself. What are you talking about? It is a romantic comedy about vampires.
Right.
And so we just decided, okay, well, look, we know where our fans are. We know who the audience is. Why do we need these gatekeepers to pick us? We can just pick ourselves. Yeah. So we put out a call to our audience, and we said, okay, we're going to rent an RV, and we're going to drive around the country bringing this film to you wherever you are.
And who's your audience? Who are you targeting?
So there were basically 3 groups. So fans of vampire movies, fans of romantic comedies, and fans of Harry Potter, because our lead guy was Tom Riddle from the Harry Potter movies. Mm-hmm. Which was really exciting for me personally, but it's not exciting for you.
That's dope.
No,
that's dope.
It's okay.
That's
You don't
big.
have to be excited. I was excited.
Don't worry, they'll like that in the comments.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so we knew that we had these audiences, and so we put out a call and we were like, tell us if you want us to come to your town. And we got 72 requests in 48 hours. And we're like, well, we can't do 71 screenings, but we can probably do 51. So we had 90 days, and we moved into an RV and just started driving around the country doing these screenings. And we invited people to come in costume. We asked them to dress however made them feel most joyful, And then we did a screening, and I was at every screening to do a Q&A afterwards, and then we threw a joyful vampire ball after every screening, which was like sort of part costume party, part like community building event.
Yeah.
Now, can I ask you,
Yeah.
what's the dark side of being a vampire, a modern day vampire? I mean, I'm sure you investigated everything.
Oh yeah. Well, I would say the dark side is you get ostracized pretty quickly, generally speaking, from your family. Like
But
a lot
if you're
of
friends with
them-
vampires, like, what do you need everybody else for? Because that's what real vampires do.
Well, these would
Yeah.
be the new friends because they wouldn't necessarily be your friends, right? The new
Right. It's a lot
community.
of sort of like chosen family stuff. Of like you sort of end up in.
But they're harmless,
families.
right? They're harmless.
Yeah, it's all consensual.
Okay.
It's very. They would never attack anybody. Often they have contracts that they sign with their donors. Like it's all very on the up.
Donors, as
So
in
they're
their
drinking blood.
as in their
Yeah.
blood donors.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yo,
I went to
so
the restroom. I came out. This shit.
so just think if Side Guy wanted to be a donor to a vampire, he'd have to go over there and let her, suck his blood.
No, but they don't suck your neck though, right?
So,
Not
Your
usually
wrist
the
probably,
neck,
right?
Or like wrists or back or.
Has anybody heard of HIV?
so I could get somebody.
No. They all get tested. It's all like they get tested. Everybody knows who's exchanging.
Side Guy, what'd you have to do?
Yeah.
Wow.
So if I get consent from someone, a female, you think it's going to be drinking her blood?
I mean, it
Yeah.
can be.
Not my thing.
See.
So,
but you know how, like, let's just say quote unquote movie vampires, like, they got their weaknesses, the light, the cross, fire. To a real life vampire, what's their?
No. So they don't believe they're supernatural.
Okay.
If you make a garlic joke, they'll probably get very offended. It's just like.
Do they eat garlic
Yeah.
with their
So
blood?
garlic like the N-word?
No, not that far.
Quite like that.
So they don't engulf the mental
No.
thing of being a vampire. They just engulf
It's a diverse community, so the perspectives vary. But generally speaking, they just believe that they were born with a need to feed on human blood to stay healthy.
Now, do you think that's just an excuse to drink blood, and they're really on some Anthony Hopkins shit, like there's Signs of the Lambs, like.
A lot of them talk about being a young kid and seeing blood, like a friend get cut or something, and like having this like visceral desire to taste it, which is definitely not something I've ever experienced, and
Right.
it makes me be like, I don't know, maybe you do need that. Who am I to say that you?
No, I wanted to taste my own blood as a kid,
Okay.
but that's
Well-
about it.
Well,
I mean, and you never taste your blood.
I had no choice.
I mean, you taste the blood, and you know what
That
it is.
shit squirting out. You're like, oh!
But it wasn't a fantasy, but I get it. Yeah.
So
Wow.
Now, you're from Colorado, you said, yeah?
Yeah.
Where's
What
your
part of
family
Colorado?
from?
like ancestrally,
Yeah.
Scotland.
You're a little Irish, yeah. I was gonna say that.
Scotland, yeah.
So you're one of the real people. I mean, your people. I mean, no, 'cause I'll tell you something. I did-
Braveheart was her uncle.
Yeah.
Really? I am William Wallace. He's a legend. You're Brian.
But Robert the Bruce
Oh, the
was the other guy.
I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
I just
You related in somewhere down the line? You found out?
Yeah.
So this is not Ireland.
Oh.
This is Scotland.
Scotland, yeah.
Well, they're like cousins, you know that.
Yeah.
they're
There's
cousins.
Yeah,
a
but
lot,
you don't
a lot
do
of
that.
traveling back and forth.
Did you guys know in the 60s when we were having when it was like a Jim Crow and the fire hoses and the black folks and all that? You guys doing the same shit in Ireland. They was doing the same shit in Ireland. Protestant and Catholics.
Hey, I
You
always say Irish are the black whites.
don't say black though.
I know.
You say big word.
Well, I mean, I did a thesis on slavery back in the day, and the first slaves that were brought over were actually convicts from Scotland and Ireland. They just emptied the prisons and was like, take them.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they actually revolted.
They fought.
They said that they were like, yo, we're not going to plant your crops no more. We're not going to do nothing. And they ended up starving of starvation because they refused to plant the crops.
Right, but then they came to America and took on the same mentality and did it towards the ending.
It happened in America.
My point is that when I said that about Ireland, is the fact that that struggle made you stronger. And it's
she's Scottish. Give her that respect.
Cousins, they're cousins.
What do you mean? You can't. That's like only Mexicans.
Start the fight.
But the English have been doing that to the Scottish.
See, there you go.
For
Coca-Cola Scottish.
Okay, I'm saying it's Scottish, but I was just making a point
like,
about
no. I was. She's gonna be what she. I want her to be Italian, she'll be Italian.
but when you say Latino, everybody's in the pot.
When you say Latino, that's a whole different story.
Or Hispanic.
Latino.
Okay. I got off my point. But my point is talking about that struggle, coming to America, and then taking on the same mentality as your oppressor.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the never-ending story.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? Yeah. And I want to commend you for acknowledging this fact and fighting against that fact, because that's a steep hill to climb. And you stand out on the island unless you have you kind of like the vampire groups. You got like 4 women we're gonna fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe that's why I related to them.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Because we all are outcasts to a degree or two. Yeah. I really like that. I like the fact that because I had people. Okay, so I have a kid. She goes to a predominantly white school. You know what I mean? It like drips of blackness in there. And the black people that are in there, they don't really kick it with me. They like say what's up, but it's so fake and bullshit. I'd be like, I get it. Please don't talk to me.
I'd be scared. I'd be scared of you too.
But the thing about it is,
I'd be like, come on,
because
Jeff, bro.
it's that same thing. It's a never-ending story. And how do we break that chain? And you, my friend Naomi, you are someone who really can exceptionally make your voice heard, because people will listen to what you have to say, and you can change the minds of a lot of people out there.
Yes,
I really believe that.
Well, and I think to your point, it's really important that as we do try to take this power back and our voices back, that we don't do the same thing of just perpetuating that cycle, but actually try to figure out how to move together and work in non-hierarchical ways and actually shift this, so it's not just a perpetual cycle of shitting on the
Well, I think that what you're doing is, of course there have been women before you that I'm sure you studied. They passed the baton to you inadvertently, and you're going to pass it on to your lineage, and so on and so forth. And that's how I believe the shift will change.
But what's dope about you is the fact that you're just not pushing your own agenda and change, and that systematic change has to come from within. And within is the fact that we're standing on the outside. As Black and Latino, we're standing on the outside. You are a white woman, so you're in the party.
Yeah.
So now you just have to get the message across. And what's dope about you is you're just not talking about women like a lot of feminists and activists are doing. That's, I get it. That's their, Black Lives Matter ain't talking about, women unless they're black women. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about everybody.
Wait a minute. Black Lives Matter is all about women. I mean,
what I'm saying is Black Lives Matter.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I meant me too. I'm sorry. I heard something else. I'm sorry. Edit that out. Yeah, good.
No.
So, you're pushing that narrative for everybody. So it's actually falling upon the right ears. Now, when we do protests and all that stuff, Black Lives Matter, it's just going to the same people. We're actually speaking to ourselves. You know what I mean? Anytime minorities, Black, Latino, are speaking, their rallies are in front of their people. You need to talk to the people who are actually in the power. And as a white woman, you can do that. You can get them upon the right ears. Just having that talk at being on TED Talk, being in Sundance. Because you never know, that guy may have never thought about even stopping by that party, and then boom, there you go. Speaking, if he saw me on the stairs, he'd probably be like, "That's not where we're supposed to go. It's over here." What I mean?
What's the response like when you get off stage and you talking about things like that? What's the response? Do you get
Well,
really?
it depends what the room is, right? If the room is film viewers, the response is always like, "This is terrible. What do we do about this? Like, why are we seeing these stories? Like, how do we fix this?" If it's peers, right? If it's filmmakers and actors who are younger than me, who are beside me, who, you know, haven't made it in. It's the same thing, like, what do we do? How do we fix this? Let's go. This is bullshit. But when I get into the rooms, right, the inside rooms, the response is not that, and I usually get told things like I once had this very famous indie film female producer who was my hero at the time come up to me afterwards, and she said, "I don't think it's a good idea to play the woman card." And I've seen women lose their careers over a lot less than what you're saying.
Wow.
And I've been told that over and like we don't talk about this.
She was giving you insider information.
That's right. Well, that's my point. And that's why the word gods is in the gods of Hollywood is in the title, because you're right. Like they believe they're gods. They believe they're infallible. Yeah. But the other thing about gods is they actually only have as much power as the number of people who believe in them.
Exactly.
So if we actually just stop believing in them, they lose their power. It's all made up.
You know, and Joaquin Phoenix, he had one of the best speeches that I've heard.
Yeah.
This Oscar go around. I mean, he was really, really crying out for togetherness. Yeah. And one of the most powerful things he said, I won't get it right, I'll mess it up, but he was just saying that everybody in this role, we are equal. You are my peers. He was talking about the little Mexican guy with the towel walking by over there. He was talking about that woman over there who can't pay her rent. He was talking about that guy over there that looks like Malik. You know what I mean? But this is what he was doing. It was so powerful. And then he brought the animals. He brought everything there. And I said, you know what? This guy is hurting inside. And he's trying to say, look, this shit is not fair.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's been nominated and he won, but Joaquin has been on the other side of the stick a lot. He's been judged a lot, like you know, for whether it's his eclecticness, his point of view, his extreme, you know, point of view on different subjects, and or not being able sometimes to articulate what he's actually trying to say. People think he's weird, but so he's been ridiculed and judged throughout the years, but. You up there and you got that Oscar in your hand, you got a platform right now, and all you can do is really speak your heart. You know what I mean? And I believe that message, that speech that he said, it was from the heart. Yeah. But whether or not it fell on deaf ears, you know...
It didn't, because we're talking about it.
Well, we heard it.
True,
exactly. The thing about the Oscars that drives me nuts is, like, particularly this year... Joaquin aside, because I agree with you that his speech was really good, everyone was sort of behaving as though the lack of inclusion was something that was happening to them. You know, like this sort of like that they could somehow be in on the joke about it with us. It's so funny that we're all so white and old and male.
Like you're so
joke,
right.
Joke,
we are white.
But it's like, you are the people. Like
that you are the decision makers.
It's your actions that are resulting in these outcomes. Like, why are you laughing about this? This isn't funny, you know? And it's sort of like, it's so weird that the profound lack of personal responsibility and just moral courage. I mean, that's like when people tell me like oh well you're going to destroy your career if you talk about this. I'm like, that's so what? Like, it's not working.
You're not going to have the career you want if you don't.
Right.
And like, do you really care that much about getting your little like not too good enough piece of the pie to like not actually stand up and be part of fixing it?
You know, that's why we came up with that. I totally agree with you, because that's why we came up with this podcast called Acting Up. Because the truth of the matter is, I don't care if we call Denzel, Meryl Streep, whoever you call, right now, they have a problem about something that's going on in their career. The truth of the matter is that we have to, it's not exposing anything, but it's kind of like putting that blueprint out. So the newcomers, people that's getting off the bus tomorrow, they can see, they can watch, and they'll know the potholes to go around.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Well, and they should be teaching this stuff in film schools, right? Because the other problem, and in acting schools, because the other problem is we go in thinking, well, we're going to get to play cool parts. We're going to get to be Christian Bale and transform and then you spend like the first 5 to 10 years of your career going, wait a minute, why am I always holding a gun? Why am I always naked? Like, what's happening? And then like slowly, it takes you so long to figure out what's even happening. And like that then, whereas if they just said, look, here's the situation, it's super unfair, it's super messed up, but here are some tools to think about how to get around it. Here are some strategies. Here's how you make your own work yourself. Like this whole thing would move forward so much faster.
Right. Well, right now is you know what? In this day and time, you could take your career into your own hands. So there's like how you just made 2 movies. Right now, technology is so easily accessible to you in your phone, on your computer. You got editing software. You got cameras. These phones have 4K on them. Like you could really do anything, and not that you should. I'm just saying, if you're dope, you should be able to make anything dope. But if you're whack, whatever you use that's whack, like a phone, is gonna be whacker. So I'm just gonna say that. You know what I mean? And if you can't act, it's gonna look even worse on your phone.
Well, this is practice. It's okay.
It's practice. It's okay. And so you should be able to like get out there and do your thing. But back in the day, there was like, so why don't you just make your own movie?
Yeah.
You know what? And you know who put me onto this game way before this game was even able to be accessible like that? I went to lunch with Bill Duke. Shout out to Bill Duke. I went to lunch with Bill Duke one day when I first got out here, and I was excited. I'm like, oh man, you know, you done fucked up, right?
Right. That's Bill Duke. Car wash.
You know, so you said you came and into the gas station at 12. You know what I mean? So or Predator or Commando. You know what I mean? Like
Abdullah in Car Wash.
Come on, man.
No, I'm sorry.
Like Bill Duke. No, I'm saying like that. Yeah, Car Wash. That was the man in my mind. You know what I mean? I thought he was such a dope actor because it didn't matter what the movie was about, how bad the movie was, or how good it was. Like Bill always had this. You know, it wasn't just those saggy eyeballs. It was like Bill was there. He drew you into his scenes. And I just couldn't wait to ask him about acting tips. And so I'm like, you know, he's like, so what are you doing, Cisco? I'm like, yeah, I'm out here, you know, I'm booking stuff here and there, you know, commercials, guest stars. You know, he's like, I was like, so how do I, like, what's the secret, man? Like, how do I get where you at? Like, when it comes to this acting, like, if there's one thing you could tell me, he's like, man, forget that. He's like, just write yourself a script and shoot it. And I was like,
Church.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I got some scripts, but how do you like? What's the acting, man? Like, what's up with the acting? Like, yo, tell me. You know what I mean? We were all from Melrose at this door. I was like, come on, I know you got some gems you can drop on me. And he's like, get a script, write your script, film it yourself. I was like, this guy is hating on the acting tips. I'm like, why won't you just tell me what I need to hear? Like, Cisco, you need to study the method or the, you know what I mean? This, like, go to the Beverly Hills Playhouse, you know? And years later, over the years, I'm just seeing all these people just blow up, shooting their own stuff. I'm shooting my own stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, and I run into him, and there he goes, and I tell him, I was like, bruh, you told me something a long time ago that got me where I am right now. You know what I mean? But, I mean, to be honest with you, I was shooting my own stuff before. That's why I was like, I don't want to hear that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to hear that. But there was no YouTube for me to take advantage of. Right. There was no internet. There was no, you know what I mean? There was an internet, but it was like, there wasn't YouTube. Yeah. There wasn't 1,000 platforms where you can just post your shit. I got VHS tapes up in there. If anybody want to buy them for $5.99 a tape, it's a Crazy Puerto Rican, CPR Productions, Morgan State University. We got a whole lot of. Anyway, my bad. Yeah. But you know, there wasn't that to take advantage of.
But that's why I think change is actually going to happen, and why I feel really hopeful, because we have the opportunity that no previous generation of silenced voices has ever had, which is that because of the lowered cost of production, because of social media, because of streaming platforms, like there is this revolution happening of voices that have never gotten space before making their stuff. And yes, maybe it's web series, maybe it's for YouTube, maybe it's micro budget feature films, maybe it's short films, but we're making it and we're getting it to audiences. And the more that audiences get a taste of that stuff, the more they're going to be like, oh, maybe there isn't just cauliflower, like broccoli tastes pretty good too. And like, then they're going to be like, hey Hollywood, why aren't you making it right? Where's the kale? And like, I feel like it's this magma bubble that's bubbling up right now. And the more that we make stuff, the more that we get it to audiences, the greater pressure is going to come on them from
We just gotta
underneath.
flood the market.
Yeah, that's
you know
right.
what I mean?
I get caught up watching YouTube more than cable nowadays.
Well, this is why people have stopped watching the Oscars, because it's fucking boring. And they're just like picking movies that like, I don't need to see another film about World War I ever.
Right. Exactly.
And every time they're like, well, we just felt like the story really hadn't been told. And I'm like, dude,
Or
it's been
a
told.
slave.
Right.
Exactly.
We never need to tell us, like, we got it. It's covered. Move on.
And you move on is exactly what, right, because we seen Sidney Poitier up there getting his Oscars 1 or 2 or 3, however many he had, and he was politically correct. He was well spoken. He was charming. He was polished. And, you know, but damn it, we want to get up there and say, Wu-Tang, love the kids. You know what I mean? Yeah, and have your mom be embarrassed by the TV, right? Because, and I think that, I talked about that earlier, last week we had a show and I was talking about nervous energy.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, like I talk about myself as having nervous energy, so I get bigger and that makes me comfortable. And I think that when you get on a stage and you've worked hard and you've been told no and you get up there and you say exactly how you feel and however it comes out.
Fuck all y'all. All y'all that held
it
me
should never
back.
be politically correct because now I'm not giving you the passion of how I made it when I was sleeping in the car, when I had sex by the roof.
What?
Listen.
When you sleep in the car.
When I was sleeping
like
in the
I
car.
said, every episode he Me Too's himself. Every episode. It's just like
Cisco, I will say that's a Jersey in him.
I'm just saying. My point is that you know we all have a story to tell. And when we get up there and we accepting something that we accomplished, we should be as real as possible. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, people get mad at Tiffany Haddish for bringing the chicken in the bag. Girl, and they be like, man, she act too much. She embarrassing. No, she not. She doing Tiffany Haddish. And I can't do that.
Well, you know who's always kept it 100 in all of his acceptance speeches? Spike Lee, yo. Spike Lee always kept it 1,000 and all of his. It's like he couldn't help it. Like people say, "Oh, wait, he's gonna say something. Maybe he's not gonna say anything pertaining." No.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been waiting 10 years for y'all motherfuckers to actually give me this.
But Spike Lee, even if he didn't
like,
say nothing, Spike Lee is very disrespectful just the way he dressed. I mean, just the way he dressed. He's saying a whole lot.
Yeah.
What, you don't like the Yankees?
He's like, fuck you everybody. I'm wearing this.
You don't like the Knicks?
No,
come on.
And also, why do you think they never gave him Best Director award?
Really?
Because he's
think about
Because he's not scared to hold his
Because he's going to say the truth.
Right.
In that moment, he's not going to hold back.
That's
He's going to
right.
be wearing his crazy suit.
That's right. Shout out to Spike Lee. We love
Shout out to Spike Lee, yo. You know what I mean?
Can I tell you my Spike Lee story? I got a Spike Lee story.
Tell me.
I'll share it.
Is it going to incriminate you?
No, it's not. So I heard through the grapevine.
Here you go.
I heard through the grapevine that Spike Lee was doing a kind of like a entourage like type show for HBO, Mike Tyson style. It was Mike Tyson's story. So I knew the cast director. I sent her flowers. I sent her candy. I did all this stuff, and then I heard that they were in New York and they were like auditioning in New York. So I caught a plane to New York, and it was raining that day. I caught the bus to Brooklyn, and I got to Brooklyn at Fort Greene Park, and I carried my luggage across the park, and it's raining, and my pants are getting wet, and I found 40 acres and a mule.
You wet your
and
pants?
I stood out there. I said, yeah, I wet my pants. I stood out there like this Spike Lee place. I was looking around, looking at it. You know, I was like, yeah, I'm here. You know, and then there was a guy standing by a car, and I was like, excuse me, is Spike? He's like, no, Spike is in L.A. He just left this morning. I was like, damn. So I just stood there. I was deflated. I was like, damn, Spike went to L.A. And then like 20 minutes later, Spike is walking out. He's walking out the thing, headed to that car. And I run to him. I'm like, Spike. He's like, not right now. I'm like, no, right now, Spike. Because listen, I just flew on a plane from L.A. I just came here, you know, Fort Greene. I just came here to give you my headshot because I want to be a part of Mike Tyson, blah, 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 blah. He took my headshot. He's like, oh, Malik, huh? Okay, Malik. All right. And he got in the car. And he pulled off, and I started crying. I cried that day.
Wait. Were they tears of joy, or were you?
Tears of joy. I felt like I accomplished something.
Oh.
I got my headshot. I was like, no, yes, right now.
Yo, Spike, I've seen Spike diss like the most prettiest, beautiful woman. Like, it has nothing to do with Spike. He don't give a what. Like, yo, I got a Spike story and shit. My family worked with Spike. Shout out to Mike Ellis, Jason Perez, you know what I mean? And I went to go drop off my cousin to set one morning. He came out here from New York. He was like, yo, I'm working with Spike. I'm like, all right. He's like, I'll give you a ride to the work in the morning. I just really wanted a breakfast burrito from the food truck. Right. But, so boom, I got my breakfast burrito, and he's like, yeah, I'll introduce you to Spike, you know what I mean? Next time you drop me off. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm walking off the lot. We are at Raleigh Studios. I think it was like a Pepsi commercial. And I see Spike at a pickup truck by himself, like just going through some. I was like, I know he's gonna introduce me, but he's right there. I was like, I'm an actor. I'm from New York. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna wait around. I was like, yo, and he's by himself, you know. So boom, hey Spike, what's up, man? He's like, yeah, hey. I'm like, look, I'm Perez's cousin, you know, boom, and you know, I'm an actor. If you ever need some talent, man, you want any movies, I would love to work with you. I had the business card at the time with the headshot on it. It was black and white. Hand on your face. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh yeah, cool, and threw it on a bunch of paperwork, like without even looking at me. I was like,
he didn't say your name. He didn't say Cisco.
I was like, yeah. Surprise. All right, okay, right. Yeah, I'll just wait till I meet you through my cousin.
Like you should have in the first place.
Like I should have in the first place. But I mean, as an actor, man, you see, I mean, I've seen directors walking down the street when I first moved here, and I'm that dude. Like, if you were a beautiful woman, I'd pull over. She'd be like, you ain't from here. I'm like, nah, I'm from New York. You're beautiful. Let me get your number. You know what I mean? I see a director. I'm like, oh, shit, yo, I know you. You know what I mean? I want to work with you one day. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, I'll see somebody I admire their work. You know what I mean? I'm more of a, I don't want to say, I'm not a groupie, but like as an actor, I want to work with you. You know what I mean? I want to be a part of your films because you want to be in what's that word? Embossed, embezzled, and engraved in their legacy where it's like, yo, I was in a Tarantino flick. I was in a Spike flick. You know, because that's forever.
Immortalized.
You know, and I just want to work with the greats. You know what I mean? And I don't really consider them, I mean, yeah, they are the gatekeepers, but really the gatekeepers are the
casting directors. And I'm going to tell you something about these casting directors. You are the gatekeepers. You get on my damn nerves. Stop acting like you're famous. You're not more famous than me. But it doesn't even matter. But I'll tell you that. I get mad at these casting directors. You know why? I don't care. Hey, you will name them. I'll drop names. But I will. But I won't.
Please don't drop names.
No, but what the problem is are the people that are in the way because they don't really have real respect for the craft. And when a person says, I'm an actor, they're not saying, like, I'm an actor, put me in a gangster movie. I'm an actor, make me a nurse. You know, they are saying that they are vulnerable and they can illuminate into any fucking thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you got these casting directors who are adamantly, they have their favorites. They have their poodle, they have the dog, they have the shades. You know what I mean? They're signing autographs in the club.
They're on the red carpet.
Who are you people? I don't care. Who are you people? Because you can't stop me. But I'm just saying, I have my experiences with cast directors. Now, for the most, I mean, I miss the likes of a Molly Finn. You know, she was great. She auditioned me for 8 Mile. She said, Malik, you're great. And we had a thing.
She cast a lot of big movies.
She was a great. You
got a Molly Finn.
And she didn't wear shades.
What's it gonna be?
That's how I knew she was a good person. She didn't wear shades. You know, and I think it's a lot of these gatekeepers who don't give the actor enough respect. I don't care who it is. If someone says they're an actor, challenge them. Challenge their greatness. Yeah. Challenge their courage. Don't shut them down. Because, you know, I think this is the golden rule, and I think that we've come a long way. I've been knowing this guy for about 20 years. I've been going in his pockets, but he's had pocket change a lot. But
what's my lighter? You got my lighter?
Years I've been knowing this guy, and I'll tell you this: we've been through a lot as far as dealing with, like, you know, directors, producers, casting directors, and getting in the movie, or getting on the set, and, you know, hustling, and that's why I always say we created this platform so we can talk to people that think like us or not. You know, so we can have a conversation,
Yep.
you know, and talk about this and share ideas. Because one thing I hate is for people when they think they know me or know my style or know what what I'm into or my fetishes. You know what I mean? I like cats, but you know what I'm saying. I want to be. I like that. And listen, I am the sponge.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
I am the sponge that people need to accept.
Yeah, well, and you're a human being. So
Thank you.
You're
That part,
a
yes.
multi-dimensional.
There you go. Yes.
Malik, I think they would accept if you weren't so aggressive.
See, let's replace aggressiveness with passion.
Yeah.
Passionate.
You know, and being assertive.
Scarily passionate.
Assertive and passionate.
Yeah.
Because that word aggressive, it sounds negative. But if you were aggressively grabbing a lady out the street when a car almost hit her, that's a good thing. That's a good aggression, huh? That's a good one.
But if you're aggressively throwing her in the street,
that's a different story. She owes me money. I mean, what are you gonna do? No, but
it works both ways.
You know, I just think that not only this 30%, but we have a lot of followers who really take the blueprint of that 30% that you speak of, and they are the ones that are really, really holding the weight down, if you, so to speak. Yeah.
Well, I hope you tell your story.
What, my story?
I mean, like in a movie or something. I want to see it.
Oh, you want my story?
Yeah, both of your stories.
My story is complicated.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you what I did do.
Well,
I'll tell you what
that's why I would make a good movie.
I'll tell you what. Let's do it.
Okay.
You said let's make a movie.
I said that's why I would make a good movie.
Oh, we had another deal. I thought we had a deal.
Like you got the contract in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping you'd say that.
We make a movie. I swear to God.
I knew this show was worth something.
He's like, yo, but I need you to raise funds for me.
What I did do is when I was in France, I got Switzerland. I'm sorry. When I was in Switzerland, I got so like enamored by the architecture and just like everything. And like I love Woody Allen movies and I love Hitchcock. I love Woody Allen because of his charm and the wittiness and just like all this dialogue and the long shots.
Jewish comedy, man, it's hilarious. I love it.
You know, as an artist, the person, you know, that's a whole nother story, right? And I like Hitchcock because the thrill of it all, like, you know, you go left and dark right. Comedy. I love that. You know, I love the mesh the two. So when I was there, I started like formulating a plan to make, and I should have went for a full feature, but I made a short film. I made a short film about a guy who was on a layover flight, decided to visit the city and look around, and he fell in love with the first woman that he laid his eyes on. And it wasn't about...
He was easy. Henceforth, Malik. Hey, you like me? I like you. I'm staying.
Yeah, and his whole dilemma was about staying and changing his life. And you know, like, if you know, like, Europeans, especially young people, they have so many great opportunities because number one, they could travel to so many countries in a day. They all connected, and you know they have this freedom. They go on backpack hikes, or you know, around the world and things like that. That gives you a whole different way of viewing the world.
My sister did that when she graduated. She backpacked through Europe.
Wow.
In the '80s, Joe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. As a girl, and then she just teamed up with a bunch of other. You know, you end up at a youth hostel, and then there goes, hey, where you guys going? And they're all going the same place you are. Now you're a group of 10. You go from 1 to 10 to 20. Right. And then next thing you know, you're on the beach like Leonardo in Thailand or some shit.
And that's my point. I think that the more cultured you get, I mean, like, people that are struggling to understand why... why is it like this? Why is it 30% on our head? I think that those people are us. I think that we need to go outside our comfort zone. Mm-hmm. I shot a movie in Geneva, Switzerland. I did 5 years in prison for drug trafficking as a teenager, and years later I was shooting a film. You know,
you forgot the language.
I didn't.
Parlez-vous français?
No, that's too easy. Je m'appelle Malika Banhat. Ça va?
Give it up
for that jailhouse French.
My point of it is that I think that
Bruno French.
your history pushes you, and I said this once before the show. I heard this from a very successful woman. She said, "Let no be your fuel to yes."
Yes.
Her name is Gail
Sayers.
No, that's a football player. She discovered the Jackson 5.
Gail King.
No.
I will survive.
Yeah, but it's all and I think that hearing that from someone like yourself about pushing it forward, not being afraid, because your story, what you're telling is very close to a Me Too story where sex for exchange for work, but you're not. This is not even about sex. This is just about being a human being and getting the respect.
Yeah.
Of a human being and being allowed or afforded to do the same work with the same money as the white counterparts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, hey, we really just want to showcase what God gave us, and nobody teaches you that when you move out here. Everybody thinks the hard part is to get noticed, to get discovered, to get your headshots, to get an acting school, to, will somebody give me a role? But it's really getting past that wall that they've built up for, and only it's like a club in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Where if you don't have that wristband on, then you're not in the party. And whether that's the wristband means having the right agent, the right manager, the right friends.
Yeah, just being. I always describe this as like the demented version of a high school lunch table. Popularity contest. That's how the entire industry works. Like you're either inside or you're outside, and you don't want to be outside.
Right.
And they can decide to send you outside again if you talk about dreary things like systemic oppression, for just dress the wrong way. But if you're inside, you get the jobs, you get to the right parties,
You get the information.
You get the information, you get the resources. And if you're outside, nobody wants to be outside.
And I'll tell you, I know a lot of A-list celebrities by happenstance, not because we're cool.
Happenstance.
Okay?
Can somebody look that up?
Not because we're cool. It's because
somebody look that up for me.
kid
Happenstance.
knows their kids. And my kid is playing with their kids.
Yeah.
But we're not social. And I'm talking about actors who I admired as a kid and wanted to be like and all that. And I can't even tell them, you know what? Because they make me feel like an outsider.
Yeah.
They make me feel. They like, Malik. Malik he's an introvert.
He's a well-dressed.
Quiet.
He's a well-dressed.
I'm not an introvert. I'm not quiet. I'm not scared. But I don't feel the embrace.
Right.
And then every now and again, some nice, and it's only white women that do this. Some nice white woman will come up to me and be like, Malik, I understand. I know what you're going through. Be strong. I get it. I want to help you, but I don't know how. But I really feel
I don't know
like
how.
I swear this happened like about 4 times. Just come. But I kind of mentioned that, and then that's a whole other story.
Other than a job.
Right. That's a whole other story. But the thing is that I don't feel that I can't illuminate because the room is kind of cold and it's so watered down. Like, hey, how was your summer?
Yeah.
How was your summer?
Yeah.
Where'd you guys go?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk about that shit. Let's talk about some real shit. Let's go have a beer. Let's talk about some shit. Like, let's kick it.
Yeah.
Let me be who I am. Let me, do my filth, flarf, talk my shit. Because I want to be in my comfort zone so you'll know that I'm harmless. I'm actually a nice guy.
Yeah.
But the fact that we gotta explain that we're harmless is some bullshit to begin with. Like you gotta convince you, like, hey, I'm okay to work with. I could be like them.
Yeah.
I could. Hey, I'm the guy you want to hang out with. But you know what the problem with how easy, honestly. And this ties everything. You know how easy it is to infiltrate the white man in Hollywood. Just be somebody that knows a lot of women. A lot of pretty women. Boom. Hey, do you know Naomi? Oh, I have not met Naomi today. Oh, hi, how are you? Yes, you guys should get to know each other. Thank you, Cisco. I'll be over here. And then boom, next thing you're gonna be like, hey, I really appreciate you. I mean, she's a wonderful woman. You know what I mean? Until like something happens and be like, wait a minute, you're the one that introduced me to Naomi. She had a whole TED Talks about my ass.
I think that's the wrong way to go.
Mr. Weinberg, I'm so sorry. I had no idea I just met her that night. Anyway, I saw you looking her up and down. I just decided that.
I think what we can do, you know, what we can do on this issue, on this subject, is to keep allies.
Yeah.
Like, we have, hopefully we have created a bridge with you.
Yeah.
You know, and we have bridged that gap, so to speak. And we are people that you can call on, and hopefully vice versa. You know what I mean? Email, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think that we have to build these little armies.
100%. And there are so many more of us, right? Like, we're 70%. They can't, if we actually just all stood up, took hands, and said no, there would be nothing they could do.
Can I say something real fast?
Sure.
I've been waiting the whole time.
Yeah.
The only way you can really affect that, and it's with politics, with everything, is with your pockets. We're 70%. If we stop going to watch the movies,
I disagree.
But
I wasn't asking
not
you.
gonna happen.
I disagree.
Let me finish. Can I finish?
Yeah.
If you stop going to their movies and go and support us, then it's going to hit their pockets. Once you hit somebody that's in the 30% or the 1% in the pockets, that's when shit's going to change.
Yeah.
But here's what they're gonna look. Okay, let's say. Okay, so what Money Making Mitch said is stop supporting their movies and just support ours. And the way they're gonna look at that as their movie just tanked. That's the only way they're not gonna look at it like, oh wow, there must have been a revolution against us. No, they're gonna be like, that movie tanked. Oh, on to the next. Oh, but wow, that black movie did great.
When the movie that we do blows up, like what's the African?
Black Panther.
No, yeah, Black Panther.
But that's like one.
Then they look, whoa, okay, it's black folks, so we gotta.
Yeah, but Black Panther was gonna win anyway. Comic-Con is a motherfucker. Those motherfuckers are a whole nother state.
They're looking at
At the end of the day, I feel like it's part boycott, but it's part creating your own table.
Right.
Creating your own lane.
Yeah.
Like, stop trying to be a part on that. No, but people don't automatically go to the boycott though. Because they're like, oh, well, I like this and I like that. So at the end of the day, if you create your own lane.
It's like when they say boycott gas and it's going to go down. But I need gas, yo.
The 70s was a great lane, but it wasn't controlled by us. It was controlled by them, knowing that we would go and buy films with us in it. So now if we wrote our own scripts and had our own stuff and did our own thing that's not black exploitation, but it's black driven, black owned, black written.
That's what I just
That's why I think that Eddie Murphy don't get enough credit.
I said the same exact. Thank you.
Yeah.
Say it again. Say it again. Say it to him.
But you're
He won't listen to black people. Say it to him.
Bitch, you're not black.
I'm half white.
But that's the point. Like, we have to create the stuff that can give them an alternative, because you can't just tell people to stop going to movies. That's not going to work. But if you're like, hey, broccoli, kale, people are gonna be like, oh yeah, that's so much more interesting. And also it's about educating audiences to vote with their eyeballs, right? And understand that Hollywood is watching every time they stream something on Netflix, every time they buy a movie ticket, that does impact the outcome of what gets made.
Right.
Can I play devil's advocate for a second?
Yeah.
So, and it's not even devil's advocate, but there is another problem beside, like, they're definitely the ultimate end-all be-all problem is those gatekeepers, the white men, whoever that is, because you know what, it could be a black man and a Latino
that's
up
sure.
there,
That's
and they don't want to fuck they shit up by bringing in the next black film. Like, it's not why we hired you. We just thought you were a smart black guy. You know what I mean? But within our different subgroups, whether that's women, blacks, Latinos, Asian, there is a sense of also racism where they're picking and choosing the narrative that they want to tell within their community. And like, yo, I can't lie. Yo, Latinos, I love you, but y'all don't put me, I don't see, it's once in a blue moon where I see a brown skin or a dark skin Latino, you know what I mean, with curly hairs. Usually they're fair skin, straight. It's some Mark Anthony type looking, you know, Ricky Martin looking type dude. And whether they got talent or not, that's cool. But it's like, yo, there's Latinos that look like you, that look like her, that look like him, her, everybody. You know what I mean? She looked like my Haitian Nana right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that look. There's races that have all shades, and within those cultures, they're only choosing to show and represent a certain narrative or person. You know, like in black films. You'll never see an all light-skinned cast. Light skin, no, it's too many light skinned niggas.
But you know what? And
that's true.
I'll say this.
It's definitely true.
I'll only say this. I just did a movie. I'm not gonna say the name. But for me, there was a part of it that's not believable because when I grew up, where I grew up, and right now to this day, there's not no light-skinned crew. You know what I mean?
A light-skinned crew.
No,
that's just weird, man.
Because
it's weird,
because it's sprinkles of love and everything. When you just make one, we are not monolithic. Not even the skin color is. We just not.
But in black filmmaking, there is.
I don't want to see a whole light skin film. I'll be like,
see, that's my point.
I'll be upset.
That's my fucking point.
What
I just said this shit and you're like, hey, I don't want to see it. Why? Who fucking cares?
No, well,
you're not even looking at the story. No,
I'll tell you what.
I'm not sitting here go, yo, I'm representing light skinned brothers. It's just the fact that why does it matter?
No, I'll tell you why.
I say that
it matters. No.
when there's not enough light skinned motherfuckers in a slave movie.
Hold on.
Show the house more.
First of all, I'll tell you this. First of all, I'm talking about being realistic. I mean, to have a film with all light skin, there's something wrong with you motherfuckers who even thought about making it.
But check it out.
That's pathetic.
Every black film is just all you.
What do you mean all me? First of all, what is me?
It's just all brown skin or darker.
That's not true.
No, there's only one if Michael Ealy is in the movie, that's it.
Nah, if you look at
if the dude who played Braxton is in the movie, Shamar Moore is like
speaking role.
Come on, if you had a movie with all Shamar Moores, that would be like, come on, but
see, but the fact that you're even thinking about that,
because
you're thinking about, wow, that's a lot of light skin niggas.
Here's the thing.
What do you mean? That's my point.
Here's the thing. No, let me say one second, Naomi. Hold on.
Naomi.
No, hold on. 1 second. Let me just say this real quick.
There can only be one redhead.
Stop.
You never see two redheads unless it's a family.
But you don't want to see a movie of just redheads. My point is
not?
Let me make my point. My point is this. I never talk about skin color because I don't give a fuck about light skin or brown skin or dark skin. I don't give a fuck about that. All I care about is social dynamics. Because guess what? A movie with just me is a boring ass movie. We have to have dynamics. There is no community of just light skinned people making a movie. That's not even realistic. Come on.
But what if
we're gonna make a movie, it's all blonde heads, it's all blondes, it's gonna be great.
They do it all the time. What are you talking about?
I never seen this movie. Show me.
What do you mean, Clueless?
Clueless?
It's a classic.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I got excited.
Naomi, please jump in.
Yeah, BB.
I got excited.
I love this. This is good.
But the conversation we're having is one of scarcity, right? It's the idea that we get one movie that's our movie for our community. And therefore, there's all these conversations of like, well, that's not my story. Of course your story isn't your story.
Everyone's
individual. Because we have these huge communities.
Crazy rich Asians.
And guess what? And my story includes him, includes you, includes you. My story is not just people that look like me. That 20th Street.
But what I'm saying, it's okay. It's okay. Like Parasite. We don't need to be in that movie, yo. Right. But that's a dope story. Crazy Rich Asians. It's about a bunch of crazy rich Asians.
Right.
All I'm saying but they don't go.
That's not the point. You talking about skin color.
Yes.
I don't like that skin color thing. I don't like that.
My point
I think that's wrong.
Like if we instead have the mindset of the goal is to have enough movies about all of us.
Choice.
We can't. We have no choice.
You have to watch that movie. You have another movie.
We don't have to fight about it.
Right.
We're fighting over the fact that there's a lack of scarcity.
There's one, right? This is the problem. So if there's only one, then this becomes a problem. But if there's a ton, then it's like you get your movie and I get to see the movie.
Right, but I want to tell Cisco something.
Okay.
Maybe that you don't know. You are black. Okay. BLACK. You're black, brother.
Wait.
Puerto Rican is a nationality.
I've never ever denied that shit.
But then why you talking about light skin?
You think when the cops roll up behind me and they say, "Oh, y'all niggas get out the car," I just sit there? He ain't talking to me. You want me to let you out the back, nigga?
What is she doing? Say what you feel.
No.
I think skin tone sometimes.
Colorism, man, is a real thing.
Because of the colorism in this country, I think skin tone sometimes shapes our experiences. So therefore,
we feel differently
we
about
feel
different
differently.
things.
So like we were talking about an all light skin movie, while that would be
a problem for you,
extremely random and
makes sense.
Unnatural and not real life. But at the same time, you have an entire demographic of people who feel like their story is not accurately being told because of the issues within the black community.
I got you. And you know what? So I apologize. I'm not understanding your plight. Okay.
No, it's not even my plight. Because you gotta understand. You gotta understand that.
That's what I was saying.
Like when it comes to Latinos, like there's a lot of. I have a friend and I love her. She's a great filmmaker, and she's like, Cisco, I just want to tell the Latino experience, and I was like, well, you're not really telling the Latino experience because I don't never see people that look like me as a Puerto Rican in your movies. They're always straight hair, fair skin. I mean, they're borderline look like white boys. Right. I'm like, and then she thought about it. The phone went silent for a second, and she's a dope filmmaker. She's one of I'll say their name. Shout out to Fanny Valise. You know what I mean? She's a dope filmmaker from Argentina.
Argentina?
Venezuela. And she's been making some really great films. And the phone went silent for a second. And, I think I thought to myself, I was like, well, there goes another film I'm not going to be in. And she was like, no, you know what, Cisco, you're right. You're right. I never thought about it, and maybe that silence was just her thinking about her own films. Wow. Was like, wow, like I don't. And there's a dope ass actor out there by the name of Elvis
Presley.
No. Elvis. He's in everything. He's in a lot of joints. He's a dope ass Dominican actor from New York, real brown skin, and. He's like, I never saw any Latin movies, even of people that look like me.
Right.
He's like, that's whack. I mean, usually you got Giancarlo Esposito playing a Puerto Rican or a Dominican, and he's a great actor, but he's not neither.
He's Italian and black.
Exactly. And so you got people who look like that rather than people actually playing that. And because, as a kid, just think, when you see somebody you admire on screen, you're like, who is that person? And now we got the internet, so you're typing, you're Googling, you're IMDbing, you're like, yo, who is that person? I want to know who that is. Raquel Welch back in the day, her name wasn't even wrong. She's Latina, you know what I mean? She's a Latina.
Damn, I didn't know that.
And she changed her name to Raquel Welch to fit in because she was borderline, just in their mind, a beautiful white woman. With a bad body, you know what I mean, and straight hair. They didn't she almost had a front as a white woman in order to get where she's going. You know what I mean? And because even in Latin films, and so like I said, even in black films, there's colorism.
Yeah.
We don't want nothing. All these, and I get it. We've been fighting for so long to get our story told, to get our likeness looked at, to be able to hey, this is me. I'm on screen. You can, and that, you know what? And when people talk shit about Obama, oh, he didn't do nothing for us. He didn't do nothing for us. First of all, he was the first black president. That alone gave millions and millions of people, little kids, hey, it's actually possible. It's possible for me to be.
I agree.
In that thing. And so, but older black people, he didn't do nothing for me. But for just the fact alone that he was the first black president, he was a president. He was a black president.
I agree, but he never loosened his tie. That's the only problem I have with it. He didn't loosen his tie. No. That's a metaphor. He didn't loosen his tie. He didn't let his nuts hang. All right, I don't care what you say. I was proud that he was president. I voted for him twice. I was very proud. And you know what? He looked like somebody I seen before walking down the street. But he never loosened his tie, and he never really
we don't
held
know
the
what's
position.
going on behind the scenes. Put it like
but that's not the point.
If Obama
that's
was
not my problem.
Trump, oh, now that would be dope.
Yeah,
because he'd be speaking to us. He wouldn't be such a jerk off. You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't say he has to isolate himself and just say, yo, pro-black, boom, boom, boom. But at least loosen your tie. Let us know that you here for us, and guess what? And talk to us. And you can talk to all the people. But Donald Trump never wavers. He talks to his fucking people. Sure. Hey, well, they were bad on both sides. I don't know. You know what I mean? Right. But he's talking to his people. He's like, yeah, he said that both is both.
He is talking
I don't
to
care
his
what you say. Right or wrong or indifferent, he lets his nuts hang, my friend. And that's all I'm saying. Obama should lose his time.
There is one subject matter I do want to, since it's relevant right now, I want to touch upon. Harvey Weinstein, 23 years.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I thought that was a bright piece of news in a otherwise pretty shit news week.
Right. Coronavirus. Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah,
it's almost like,
I mean, look, I think we don't have the same prison system for anybody, so I'm a little skeptical about what kind of prison he's probably going to go to, right? But he's old, he'll probably die in there.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Right, and it's not going to be a walk in the park. I mean, he's not going to be...
he's 23 years in New York, and then he's still got to come back to L.A. for whatever, how many more years. You know what I mean? He's dying in there.
Yeah. Didn't he have to go to Rikers?
I was just going to say that.
He was at...
Rikers.
He's at
Rikers.
He's at Rikers.
But he's protected. I mean, he's not in population.
Yeah, he's protected.
Because of the celebrity of it all. Hey, you're backing out. You're moonwalking.
I gotta go do self-tapes, but I want to support my boy.
What's your name?
Nikki Horde.
So. Nikki Horde in the house.
Hey. My family.
Wait, is that your sides?
Yes, it is.
So you've been studying your sides during our podcast? Hey,
that is what Acting Up is about.
That's what Acting Up is about. Like, she can't, I'm sure she's going to take something to this, and she's not even going to know it. Something that she takes home with that we said, or that she said, that everybody, like, just being around this creative energy, trust me, you probably got your character, everything. Make sure you book that shit.
Right.
If you don't, create a fan. That's one thing about actors. It's not that you always gotta book everything. It's nice if you do. But you know what? It's about creating a fan. Another fan in that casting room.
That's right.
And it's like, because you never know why you're not going to get the part.
That's right.
It might be the friend of the friend, or she slept with him last night, or you know what I mean, or it's because that's his nephew, and I used to be kind of jealous about stuff like that, because I knew a lot of people back in the day that ended up getting the role over me, because they were friends with the director, and I was like, that's some bullshit, man. Like, damn, Malik knows Benny Boone. He knows people. He knows people. And then it started happening to me, and I was like, hey, this is alright.
See, you know what I mean? See, he's gonna change.
He's like, hey,
this guy's gonna change.
I mean,
I
was like, hey, I didn't have to audition, or they actually let me pick which role I wanted to play, or if I did have to audition, there's like, yo, look, the people with the money just want to meet you. That's it. You know what I mean? Cool. Hey, but I've definitely, like, I swear to God, I've booked a part in this movie.
Hey, Cisco,
hold on.
She's got to go to bed.
She
has to rehearse.
She could have been.
We giving
she
her.
She could have been left.
I thought she was giving her the
This is our show. She's the one leaving.
See what I mean?
She's not even a guest.
This is my girl, bro. So fam. So that's right. I'm so proud of you. I just want to see your podcast. I'm usually in class.
Will you come back?
Ciao. No, thank you for coming.
When y'all do it on Tuesdays, stuff like that. So.
Any of you guys that ever want to, be in the studio audience of Actin Up Podcast, I know you guys hear all the claps in the back, and we got the libations flowing, and the food is Scozy's NoHo. You know what I mean? So if you guys ever slip into Actin Up Podcast on Instagram, and let us know. You guys can want to come to the live taping. It's all good in the hood. Well, but with that being said,
yes.
You know,
it was dope being able to get a role finally without having to, jump through the hoops. And, I don't mind jumping through the hoops because I can't lie. Like, I'll go in some place and be like, yeah, I want you to see, I'm going to murder this shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So Naomi, that's the question. You see, you just said it. That's exactly. What happens when this thing shifts and you at the helm? Can you honestly say that you're going to be fair-minded, open, and honest?
You mean if I got put in charge with the film industry tomorrow?
Yes, when that happens.
Yeah. Like, are you going to put women in men's parts? I mean, no, that's some real shit, though.
My philosophy about this is that my goal is to remove gatekeepers from the system. Because no, of course, I'm a human who was raised in a sexist and racist society, right? Like that, there are parts of that however hard I work are going to be in my brain, just as it's in all of our brains, right? And I will always have blind spots because I'm a human being, right? And that's true to any gatekeeper. So right now, the immediate problem is that all those gatekeepers are white men, for the most part. But I actually think the problems are gatekeepers in general. We don't need gatekeepers to tell us who an audience wants to see, what movies an audience wants to see.
What actors they want to see.
Because we can ask them on the internet, right? Like that made sense in the days when you couldn't just poll people very easily about what movie they want to see. So if I were put in charge of the film industry, I would say, of course I'm going to come with my own biases. I shouldn't get to decide this. Let's have the audiences decide this. Let's make sure that lots of people who don't look like me, who don't come from my life experiences, also get to decide this.
Wow, I like that.
What if for the first, let's just say, boom, Genie snaps his fingers, you're in power, and for the next year or two, you're putting all your friends, you're putting on all the people that have been supporting you over the years. You're putting on all the females that you've grown up with and have had these talks about before you even got to Actin Up. You know what I mean? We can't even look at that as that's messed up. You know what I mean?
No,
She's just putting on people.
You absolutely should look at that as messed up. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't trust myself as a person, because of course, we all want to do that. Like, we want to bring our friends, but then you're going to end up with a bunch of people who look like me. Like, you have to.
Black friends?
I have black friends.
all your friends are redheads.
Yeah. Every one of my friends has red hair. That's my life.
She's at the ginger gang.
Don't mess with us. No, so immediately my first step as queen would be to put a bunch of people who do not look like me, who do not have my same life experiences, in equal positions of power. And I think that's, the hierarchy, right, is part of upholding white supremacy, is part of upholding the patriarchy. Because then there's always somebody at the top whose decisions, whose biases filter down.
His whole cabinet's like that.
Right, exactly. So my goal, I would be a total hypocrite if I got that power and turned around and did the same thing. The whole point is we have to look at a different kind of power sharing.
No, because I think that's the question. What would you do, or what are you going to do when that problem is solved? It seemed to me that you are a problem solver. You want to kind of discover, take the lid off of things that have been covered up for however long it's been. And like me, myself, I do have my issues and things like that. But then there's a thing where I need some type of buoyancy, just to create that balance, so I don't spend too much time on saying, yo, I'm black, they won't hire me, I'm this, I look, you know what I mean? I don't want to just stay in that space, you know what I mean? So I do want to evolve, and I don't want all that pressure, like you say. I want to evolve, and I want to relax too, as well. Yeah.
Well, all I ever wanted to be was an actor. I have an acting degree. Wow. I just want to make my movies. All this other stuff is just because we're in a system that doesn't want to allow me to do that. So, I will, if the day comes when I don't have to talk about this stuff, I don't have to write any more books, I will be the most thrilled person. Yeah. I will just go back to making my movies.
Yeah, people act like we want to protest, that we want to... rally, like we want to do all this shit. We want to like come on. Like I wish I could just walk up to. I could submit to CAA and be like, you know what? We ain't got somebody that looks like Cisco. Like, oh, let me look him up. Oh, you got some dope work. You know what? I fuck with you. Yeah, come on in. You know what I mean? Like what? Like those days. Well, we never really had those days, but I'm just saying, it's not that we want
we don't like
to be doing this. No. We don't want to spend our ancillary time. I could be creating. You know what I mean?
I could be watching a movie right now. Like I could be like at home on the couch eating popcorn.
No. You're on Actin Up Podcast right now, so you know what I mean.
Anywhere else on the planet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, on Twitter, which is the best place to be a feminist, I can tell you. On Twitter the other day, this dude was like, it's getting really exhausting listening to women complain all the time. Wow. And I was like, not as exhausting as it is to have to complain all the time.
Right, exactly.
What?
I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
A feminist.
Yeah.
What
is the definition?
Is your definition of a feminist?
So my definition of a feminist is someone who believes that women should have all of the same things that men have.
Oh, okay.
And that's it.
That's it.
See, that's why I like you.
Except for manhood.
Yeah, you can keep that. Yeah.
I mean,
but
no, that's something totally different.
I'm sorry.
No. But I mean, like I said,
that's something that's just for me. Like I'm special.
But that's what makes Naomi dope.
But you're not men haters.
No.
Just equalizers.
At least you're not. You know what I mean? Like you talk. You like I said before. You speak for everyone that's being, oppressed in this industry, and from that guy, the guy at the top, the head honcho, the Mr. I don't even want to say no because you so messed up you can't even say the Mr. Goldbergs. You like cancel him at a highway. I'd be like, yo, I wasn't talking about any Goldberg in particular. You'd be like, yo, there's a trust and believe there's a Goldberg out there that has a lot of power, and that's your ass.
We can't be scared anymore. I think that being honest, okay, let me be honest. All right.
You have been honest this whole time?
I'll be honest. I don't like being too transparent. I like to have some privacy for myself, where I live.
That's why he wears a hoodie.
But at the same time, I think that being honest about how you feel you're being treated or represented or not misrepresented, I think that's key, and I think you shouldn't have any fear to elaborate on that. In a special way. You want to be articulate. You don't want to knock a table over, but you want to get your point out. And I think that's very important. I think that you coming here tonight kind of like giving us that point of view, because we have these conversations all the time. But we don't have this conversation all the time with someone that looks like you, like a Naomi, who comes from Colorado, who, otherwise would have a good life if you'd have just, why didn't you just become a nurse? I don't know what was wrong with you. What did you think?
Because she wants to be Nurse Betty. She wants to be a nurse on Showtime.
You care about us. You would have had a great life. You had to care.
So in closing,
not closing. I got something to say. So
I know you got something to say.
So was it 2 or 20? Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a difference between 2 and 20. So one thing I can say is, first of all, I want to give a shout out. I went to the Beverly Hills Playhouse, and Richard Lawson. Shout out to Richard Lawson. He was my acting coach. He's really dope. He still is dope. You know what I mean? He married Beyonce's mom. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's him? I never knew his name.
You know what I mean? But
Silver Fox is what I call him.
So at that time, when I started going there, I just started booking, bang, 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 and I did nothing but just criminals, numbers. I was a criminal hijacking a truck. New York CSI New York, I was sticking up a liquor store. CSI Miami, I was an inmate in a bunk that helped somebody escape. You know what I mean? Like in the Parkers, I was a guy who got accused wrongly of stealing something from the mall. Everybody hates Chris. I robbed the train. Another episode, I robbed another train. Like every time, it doesn't matter if it was a comedy.
What about when you shot with me?
I was a pimp. So I was like, yo, I'm working. This is great. I'm providing. I can actually say I'm a working actor. But I went to my to Richard one day before class, and I'm like, man, I'm getting tired of playing all these like criminal roles, thug roles, cartel leader on Leverage. You know what I mean? Like everything was one of them. And he was like, are you booking them? I was like, yeah. He's like, well, just keep booking them until you get the opportunity to do something else. You know what I mean? Keep booking them to let them know you can act. And if you're going to be a thug, a gangster, a criminal, a robber, a cartel leader, be the best motherfucking cartel robber that you can be. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
he was the best pimp.
I thought about it. I was like, all right, because what? Do I not want to work? And one thing I can say between maybe me and a woman, women get to a point where like, I'm not going to play a hooker anymore. I'm not going to show my tits anymore. I'm not going to play a prostitute. I'm not going to play a drug addict. I'm not going to play this. Like they like, no, if it's that role, I'm not doing it. You know, and like Malik said earlier, like, well, if I am going to be a criminal, I'm going to be the dope. I'm going to make it different every time. And on CSI New York, I like by that time, I did have the confidence to actually go to the director. You know,
I'm sorry, I thought it was something funny. Cause he said pimp, and you said do something different every time. I was like, yo, you could be a bow-legged pimp. You could be a pimp with a limp. You could be a
pimp with a cane.
A homeless pimp.
I can have fish. I can have fish in my shoes. How many pimps are there?
It's a hard pimp to play.
I asked him. I was like, yo, Norberto Barber, I believe was his name, and I was like, yo, I seen him at the trail. I was like, and he's like, hey, you know, congratulations, boom, boom, boom. And I was coming from my fitting, and I was like, yo, I was like, can I be like a different kind of... The scene was, you know, we rob a liquor store, but it's really an initiation for the kid that was with us, the young kid into our gang. And he had to kill the cashier. That's what the whole thing was about. You know what I mean? And then they come back to our hideout and you know, do whatever. But... Our hideout. They're hilarious. Like I was in Batman or something. No, but so I asked him, I was like, look, I just don't want to go in and just be the typical corner store, liquor store robber. Like, give me your money, stick them up. You know what I mean? And I was like, I want to be on some Tarantino shit. I was like, I want to...
Back to those white men. You like the 30%.
No, whatever. He's, Tarantino, like, that's his style.
I ain't no front. I went to one of his
movies. Shut up.
And I was so insulted because I went to the Hateful Eight. I mean, it must have been a nigga in every fucking scene. Look, nigga here, nigga there, nigga there, nigga over there. Oh shit, a nigga down, oh go, hey, nigga. I swear to God, I was so mad at the premiere. I was like, yo,
he puts that word in more than we do.
Real. Like, yo, you obsessed with something, my brother. Yeah. But I go ahead, finish your story. I'm sorry.
So I was like, I want to be on some nutso shit. You know what I mean? But I did say Tarantino. And he's like, okay, all right. So boom, finally we gotta get the set. And he's like, all right, so here's the deal. You're gonna come in. You're going to go over there and say, hey, stick them up. You're going to go over and get a 40. And then you're going to come around. And once he says, stick them up, or like, put the other guys in and say, stick them up. Yeah, no, give us the money.
1977.
Give us the money. And, shout out to Erica Vika. That was in the scene with me. And he's like, but you're just going to start shooting up the whole place. bang. It was like wine everywhere. The bottles are gonna start exploding everywhere, and it was the dopest scene. I just felt bad because every shot, like they say, they put squibs on every bottle in there, and I was just like bang, 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 and every pow, pow. You know, like I felt like I was really shooting because the timing of the squib master and my gun was just on point.
Master.
Yo, it was so.
Well, listen,
dope.
I'll tell you something.
Yo,
they call
man, don't be interrupting my story.
Sorry.
But it was dope, man. Nah,
I'm sorry, Naomi.
But put it like this: closed mouths don't get fed. If you're doing something that you always, you know what I mean, are doing, you gotta make those choices as an actor. You gotta make those choices as an actor because they're expecting you. You can't just be the same shit that they always hire.
I would have took a bottle and hit somebody over the head with it. I said, I keep this shit real in this bitch.
No,
I'm a real one.
But real talk, you probably, if you had said that, they would have got a breakaway bottle.
Let me tell you something.
I
never tell them what I'm gonna do. I always do something outside the box. I never tell them.
That's the problem, folks.
Like
Malik didn't tell him that he was gonna hit him over the head, hit the lead actor over the head with the bottle. Oh, we would have got you a breakaway bottle, Malik. No, I don't need a breakaway bottle.
I want real blood.
I want a real bottle. I want to surprise people.
I'm sorry. I mean, I know I brought him here. I know you met him. He's a friend of mine. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're apologizing for him?
Oh, this guy got a suit on, and all of a sudden he acts brand new.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I brought a 30%. I don't know about you.
DWS, what are you?
I put this 30% over here. Look, so Naomi, he's long-winded.
Can I just say I'm with you on Tarantino. I can't watch his movies because he hates
everybody.
Yeah, he hates
but he is telling a raw story. At least he's telling it. You know, there's a lot of racism hidden in the perfect directors' stories, where it's like, did you catch that? At least it's in your fucking face with him. He's not saying, "Oh,
it's definitely in your face."
It's in your face. And you know what?
Well, I think
as a Sagittarius, I appreciate. I'd rather you say, you know what, Cisco. You know, thanks for having me on your show. I probably won't come back, but thank you very much.
I'll tell you like this.
I would respect you more than if you were like, oh, thank you so much.
Let's go with this scenario.
Was the greatest
let's go with this scenario. No, let's go with this scenario.
I don't want that.
No, let's go with this scenario. Imagine this, huh? We doing a movie. I come in, I kick in the fucking door, and I say, look here, you fucking spick. Get the fuck over there, huh? And do what the fuck I say. And then I say it 30 more times in that same fucking scene. Yeah. That's called overkill, my friend. Yeah. That's the bottom line.
Can you elaborate on, because I really want to know this.
Yeah.
How you just said Quentin hates women, because Kill Bill, the woman was a
heroine,
cold-blooded killer.
Yeah, but she was so that movie, and I don't think Tarantino thinks he hates women. I think if you asked him, he would say he's a feminist because of that movie. But if that's playing into the whole, like, women can only be powerful if they've first been irreparably damaged by men.
There you go.
What about Jackie Brown?
No. And then if you watch, I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood this for the Oscar stuff.
Okay, I give you that one.
And like every woman in that movie is either a sex doll or a shrew.
But in all fairness, that was a time period. That was a period piece.
It's not a time period.
The 70s?
Yes,
there was strong women all over the world.
Yeah. No, but he was just talking about those women.
What that movie was Tarantino going, wasn't it great when we could just objectify women and kill women who complained and be racist out loud and nobody cared? Like, wasn't that the whole movie is Tarantino going, wasn't that fun? And I just, like, it makes me want, and I understand there are ways in which he's a great filmmaker. I don't want to watch his movies because I feel attacked every time I watch them.
Yeah, I think his version of keeping it real is always overkill. Yeah, there's shock value, some here and there, but I mean, it's overkill. It's like, okay, dude, like, do something different, because, look, we've been here on a podcast. How many times did we say nigger? Or any of that stuff.
You've said it 100 times.
No. We only said it. Listen, first of all, I didn't say it. The only time I said it was when we referred to the name. I said N-word, and you know what I mean. That's the only time we really said it. We had actually had over an hour, 2-hour conversation without being derogatory or anything like that, and still keeping it real.
Usually nigga flows through this whole podcast.
No, well, honestly, I don't really say the word nigga a lot because it's just not in my vocab like that. I don't. Not like that.
Recordedly.
No, if you listen to me, I never call you and be like, yo, what up, my nigga? I never say that.
Side guy just said this is being recorded.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
he put on a suit and this motherfucker like, yo. And anybody that wants to come to my sermon at the church down the street, meet me at AA.
Like, so Naomi, can you let us know what you have coming down the pipeline?
Sure.
Before we run up out of here, because there's hot food bubbling. I want to get another drink myself. I don't.
See,
but
don't let the
at the same time,
don't let the soup fool you.
No, I want to have fun.
No.
We're having a party.
Let's
Somebody said drink. Ow.
Oh, thank you. There.
No.
That's Jenny from the block.
Let's hear what you got coming, because I know you said you were writing, or you have what stage of that film are you in?
I'm on the 11th draft of a new film.
Hold up. I'm glad you just said that, because I heard something about you where you rewrote the first film that you submitted to the film festivals 52 times. She submitted a film, a script. Tell me the name of it.
Imagine I'm Beautiful.
Imagine I'm Beautiful 52 times. And you won mad awards for it.
Yeah.
But 52 times. Do you guys hear that? Like I think you guys really need to understand that, because a lot of you write films, first draft, and you're like, it's the greatest. Boom, let's shoot it. 52 times.
Well, we have our producer telling us that we have to hurry up.
Wrap it up.
We're running out of time.
So let's go back
we want to know what Naomi is doing.
No. So let's go. So
you want to say it?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because he likes to be very eloquent, and you take a long time.
I got a tie on.
So tell us what you got cracking. Tell us where we can find you as well.
Okay.
Instagram.
Instagram. I'm on all the social media, but the best place is my website, which is NaomiMcDougallJones.com. My next film is called Hammond Castle, and it's about a 7-month pregnant woman who gets locked overnight in a castle full of famous ghosts.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
Full of famous ghosts.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that outside of the box thinking.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, thanks.
Is Elvis there?
No.
Fancy.
Oh, okay.
Very fancy.
Well, Naomi, listen.
And then
you gonna say that? You gonna do that? That's not right.
No.
That's
So,
not
but
right.
you know,
Well, let me say
Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Twitter,
everything is
all the things.
Naomi McDougall Jones.
Yep.
McDougall is your family name, the Scottish
The
part,
Scots,
and then
yeah.
Jones is the black guy you married. No, I'm just messing with you.
Something
She
like
said
that.
he's a white guy.
We would like
Scottish.
Naomi.
McDowell is Scottish?
McDougall.
Naomi,
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Naomi,
He's like, I don't know.
I just took Cisco's battery out, so we only got 10 seconds. Believe me, it'll recharge.
I got a string.
Really quick, I wanna let you know that you are a friend of the show, and you
Yes.
can come back anytime. We want you to come back because we want to see your progress. We want to
Yeah.
hear about it. We want to talk
Yeah.
about it. Hopefully, Cisco is the light-skinned Puerto Rican in your movie, and I'm the brown black man.
You're still gonna be a thug. In her next movie, you're gonna be robbing her.
And where can we buy your
Rob me a
book?
little harder. Just push me down.
You're gonna be the guy where she's walking down the street and she puts her purse on the other side.
Where can we buy your book? Where can people buy your book? Good
Anywhere
question.
books are sold, it's available. It's hardcover, audiobook, which I read. It's on Audible, and ebook anywhere.
It's on Audible.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Great.
And
Yo.
thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I'm not being fake.
The worst experience of your life.
This was the craziest podcast I've ever been on.
You live in Brooklyn. What part of Brooklyn? Do you still live in Brooklyn? Do you still live in Brooklyn?
No, I just moved to Atlanta.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
But you used to live in Brooklyn, so you already know how we get down.
What part of Brooklyn? Fort Greene?
East Flatbush.
Oh, wow.
That's where my pops was blood born.
She likes
So,
nigga stuff.
hey, this is the Actin Up Podcast. I'm your boy, Cisco Reyes, and this is
Malik Barn.
And we need all of you to make sure that you guys follow at Actin Up Podcast on Instagram. We also have the website. It's under construction.
Yes.
At Actin Up, no G, at Gmail. And I am Cisco Reyes at Cisco Reyes, CISCOREYES, and
Malik Barb, MALIKBARNHADET.
Yeah, and that's another one, baby. We'll catch y'all next time. Hey, yo, y'all stay safe. Quarantine yourself with lots of water.
He's long-winded. Yo, hello, next one. You know, after talk shows when they like actually talking and shit like that. Like, let's do that. Hey, keep it rolling.
Oh, yo, keep it rolling. This one.